doing my part. I'm 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 doing my part.
Hello, good morning. I have very important questions. We're on topic already. Has anyone seen The Prince of Egypt? I decided to watch it, and all of the songs are stuck in my head. Particular right now, Let My People Go. It's about the story of Moses, and I realized how much it is not kid friendly whatsoever. That is not a kids movie. It might be by DreamWorks, it might be animated, but it is not a kids movie. The themes that they tackle, I don't even feel like, because often I promote the idea of tackling tough topics when it comes to children because they gotta learn at some point. So, for example, a series of unfortunate events starts off with the kids getting orphaned, then they're not shying away from death, right? It's hard. These things suck, but you gotta learn about them somehow. Whereas Moses, oh goodness, no, I realize, or rather, the Prince of Egypt, I realize I don't think that's a kids' movie. I really don't. I feel like it is definitely tackling some harder ones. Even as an adult, I was like, oh God, do I agree with this? God, do I agree with this? Is this how you fight fire with fire? It also made me think about the story of Exodus anyway, and I was like, what actually happened here? Was this possible?
I'm doing my
How
part.
much is truth? How much is embellished? You know? It was, anyway, I had fun. You know this movie? Yeah, it's a bit of an old one. It's from the 90s, and I feel like it's not one that a lot of people saw. And you know what? I understand why now, because I used to love it as a kid. I remember watching it as a teenager in high school, and I was so excited because I was one of the only people who had seen this in my class, and I just wanted to sing along with the songs, and they wouldn't let me sing along with the songs. I was like, I'm not disturbing the class. I'm even doing it under my breath. I'm like, deliver us. How can I not sing along? Anyhow, some do that with the knowledge that if the kids understand it, they should know it. Yeah, well, the thing is, I was watching this, right, and I was like, damn, we really out here watching this genocide happening, and it was really, really depressing. And like, you have a point, Schmick, that maybe they should know it. It was awful, I tell you, awful. And then just fighting fire with fire, where it's like the firstborn children all died with the Passover. Oh man, is that really how we want to end these people's suffering? But then it's for the better of the masses. Oh, it was tough to wrap my little head around. I'll tell you what, it was. Man, songs are pretty good though. Songs are pretty good. It was hardcore. That is such a good way of putting it. Yes, it was hardcore, man. It was hardcore.
I'm doing my part.
Anyway, that's my little rant. Good morning. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good weekend, whatever you have been getting up to. Thank you for sharing it with me. And let's see what else some people have been saying. Hi, Corey. Yeah, we added the 2 others there, so Bulbasaur's not feeling so lonely.
Part.
I was thinking I've got a smaller version of Bulbasaur where I can make them the same size as the others, but Bulbasaur is my favorite, so I do like that they have a little bit more size to them, let's say. Yeah, and when they parted the Red Sea, apparently, when sorry, let me get my thoughts together. There are some scientists or meteorologists or whatever the expertise was that found or maybe mathematicians, they found the exact conditions that the Red Sea could have parted. So it is theoretically possible. No, sorry, it is technically possible, but the odds for it to happen is almost 0%. I can't remember exactly the conditions. I just know that they looked into how the conditions would work. But it's good. Oh my gosh, look at everyone here. It's so good to see you guys. And thank you for all doing your part. Hi, our Knuckles. My kid brain wouldn't even process what was happening. Exactly. And so for me, I was just singing along to the songs, Avatar: The Last Airbender animation, that's got some really serious subtext. Yes, the thing that I find interesting about that one is that they stray away from saying the word murder or kill. So whenever they're like talking about the Fire Lord, they're like, we'll have to get rid of him or something like this. They never ever use the word kill. And spoiler alert, how they end the series. Oh my gosh, I remember watching the finale with my friend. I think I was about 12 or 13 years old. We used to walk home together, she and I. And so Avatar: The Last Airbender would be on just as we'd get home. She'd always come to my house first and then would watch Avatar and then she'd go home. And so I remember watching the finale in New Zealand, and boy, it did not disappoint. That was insane. It was so good. What a good show. My goodness gracious. Child Clover Crimson, did you start your game review Substack yet? I have not done any game reviews. I've not done any movie reviews. The last YouTube video I posted was that I was in the UK. And I was actually thinking that I'm a bit overdue for posting another video. So I've been doing a lot of verticals, but those verticals have been posted from clips from the live stream. So I haven't made any, I guess, new content because I guess the verticals are moments from the live stream rather than new content. So I've been thinking about it. We've been doing movie nights, as Boba said. How was Mrs. Doubtfire? We've been doing movie nights in the Discord, and I've been thinking it would be fun to do reviews Admittedly, I did try and film one, and I went, oh, this is very different to what I do when I'm live streaming. So it needs a little bit more structure. It was a nice lesson to learn, but it is not as simple as movie reviewers make it out to be. I'll put it that way. So I need to find my my rhythm, I suppose, when it comes to doing movie reviews, and if I want to do them at all, because I think that's another thing is am I doing them because I feel like I should do them because we're watching all these movies, or do I want to do them? And that's something I gotta look into too. Wasn't it like a drainage or a lake that we can have a look. How about, you know what, we'll find out. I don't know the condition or half the words you're saying, but you have nice teeth. Thank you. Yeah, I blend in with my background. Hey, Adeline, welcome back. Yes, well, when I am in rant mode, then breath is secondary to the point I'm trying to make, you know? Phil, how you going? The finale was unreal, wasn't it? Just, I honestly, I was not expecting it. I thought it was, oh, man, like, wow, I'm actually speechless. So good. Vertical dude. Vertical dude. I've started calling them that because I am referencing cross-platform, not just shorts or just reels or just TikTok. It's just verticals to me. Review or react? I don't know. Because I guess I'm not live reacting. So I wouldn't call it react necessarily, and so I don't know, I suppose. Hi Gunnar, I'm from New Zealand. Thank you for asking. Mrs. Doubtfire, Clem's favorite movie. Yeah, right. So, oh my goodness, what is this? In-law? Excuse you. Thank you. That is very sweet. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Tanko, tanko, tanko. Enlaw's here! Thank you so much, Enlaw. I hope that you are getting some breaks in between all your hard work, and thank you very much for being oh so kind, as always. Let's read. Oh, is this the Red Sea boba? Hold on. Watch this backside doom scroll vertical mean gnarly trick. It does sound a little bit like it is a skating term, hey. Scientific explanations for the parting of the Red Sea focus on natural meteorological and geographical phenomena rather than supernatural events. Researchers suggest that strong winds, a wind set down, could have pushed back shallow waters to expose a land bridge, while seismic activity or tsunamis may account for the abrupt return of the water. So here's my thought. If there were all of these plagues that were going on, so the locusts and the boils and etc., I can't remember all of the plagues, but all of these plagues were happening. We now, with our minds, and obviously if you're religious, I'm sorry if we're being very blasphemous, but we're trying to tie in the religion with science. We're trying, like, God can still be responsible, but how do us who are not necessarily believers also believe? So my thought, you see, if we look at it through science, is if all of these phenomena are happening, then who's to say that crazy winds and seismic activity wouldn't also be happening? You know, the animals, they always know something's going on. They always react crazy. The frogs and the locusts, that's the animals acting crazy. The droughts, the death of the animals, like the cows, and then the diseases that are coming on to the humans. That, to me, screams horrific weather and unprecedented events, right? Biblical, one might even say. So why not also a very specific wind and seismic activity for the Red Sea to part and then immediately flood? So I think maybe that is quite possible. Back to work, you poor thing, Enlo. Well, thank you very much for swinging by nonetheless, as always. am well. Yes, I am doing very well. I'm a happy chappy. I'm doing well. Do you know Perry? Perry. Well, I know of a couple Perrys. It just depends on what you are referencing in particular. Like Perry the platypus, or Perry on Twitch. Other Perrys. That's kind of the end of the Perrys that I know, admittedly. The parting of the Red Sea, scientific explanation, wind set down. Exactly right. Love Perry, but which Perry? You can read it as divine intervention through natural events instead of science and faith. Exactly. And so that's what I mean. We can marry these two things together. Like, just because something is possible scientific doesn't mean that it's still not crazy that it happened. And so outside of the realm of, let's say, statistics and possibility, it's still kind of crazy, you know? Land bridge, tidal winds, maybe even seismic activity that could move large amounts of earth underwater. I choose to believe it. Will you marry me? Yes, I will absolutely marry you by giving you a big ol' smile, by telling you a bad joke from my robot. Let me have a look. What did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breath! I don't get it. What is it? I don't understand it. What does that even mean? It's supposed to say breathe, right? I was just committing to what it said. And I thought maybe I just didn't understand the joke. But even so, why does it say breathe? Oh, because it's holding its breath, and that's why the purple grape is purple instead of green. Okay, I get it. You are ginger. Astute observation, Pixfox. I'm glad that someone was here to tell me that I'm ginger, because I didn't know that myself. We're just hanging out. We're going to talk about Mrs. Doubtfire. Don't worry, Boba. I have not forgotten your message. I believe in reincarnation, says Zul, so I can't be Christian. There we go. Yeah, it's not usually one and the same. But I suppose you are allowed to choose to believe what you want to believe. And if that has Christianity and reincarnation, I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. Okay, for me, the most important question is, why did Noah forget the dinosaurs? I know, right? It's so depressing that we could have had dinosaurs today. Fuck you, Noah. Georgie, you got a gifted sub today. Yes, so enjoy. It's good to see you. Yeah, I know of the platypus, exactly. I'm in Southampton, Gopi. Perry on Twitch, there we go. Yeah, so that's why I was a bit confused, because Perry with an I. I am familiar with Perry. I also think that they are wonderful. I actually live in their country now, not in the same city as them. But I don't know. It would be only up to them to decide whether to do a collab, and I don't know if that's kind of Perry style. That's probably a question better asked for the people who watch Perry and Perry themselves. Context should get you there. It's as soon as it was breathe, I get it, because you're holding your breath, you turn purple because you're holding your breath, but you know what? I committed, and I think that's what made it funnier. Joe, hello! And Goku. I don't even come for the brick wall anymore. You are a flatterer, Goku. You're gonna make a girl blush, you know? Dyed hair for sure, yeah, for sure. No, you're right. You're right, Mines. You got there in the end. We found out who we're talking about. The fact that, look, honestly, the reason why I doubted that you were talking about Perry, I never know how to say the whole thing, Perry Carriel, is because you're on YouTube. And so usually people who speak about Perry, I'm used to seeing on Twitch, which I believe is her main platform. Not that she doesn't do YouTube. I know that she has some YouTube things as well, but I've never I shouldn't say followed, but I tend to know her from Twitch rather than YouTube. So I was like, what? There's no way you're talking about that, Perry. Anyhow, it's actually Beeth with an E. Thank you, Mozza Sticks, for teaching us the correct grammar. Warren Beathy. Are you gonna upload a reaction? I think I will. I just haven't sat down and gone back and edited is all. I've been focusing on some verticals because I've just never edited reacts before. And so I think that's something that I will talk to some people about just to give me some advice, because as someone who's never done it before, I get a lot of decision paralysis on how to tackle new projects because there's no right or wrong way. And so that's what really messes me up, because I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Do I make a compilation that's a 10-minute video? Do I just upload a 2-minute video? If I make a video of reactions that have 5 reactions in it, and that makes it 10 minutes, and then the next time I make one, it's only got 2 reactions, is that now inconsistent? There are a lot of questions I ask myself, and it is a lot of paralysis. But yes, I would like to save those reactions, because I think that day was a really good React Wednesday, so I'll have to look into it. Hi, Alex. Enzel, thank you so much for the follow. I'm available for marriage if there's any spare suitors. I say yes to all of the marriage proposals, and you just need to ask is all. Explaining a joke is the height of comedy. We do know this. I want to marry you. Well, you're welcome to, Alexander. I'm just glad that you're here, that I can now add another husband to my list. It's awesome. It's great. Perry A, the French water expert. Ooh, we've got a new one as well. Best way to remove regret? Radical acceptance. We know that we cannot change anything, but what we can do is learn a lesson and accept that that is now just a part of our life, and it can suck. You don't have to be happy about the event. I don't want to that to be confused. You can still look at an event and go, man, that really sucked, but you can't change it. And so that radical acceptance perhaps can help you with the regret, but not necessarily changing the feeling about it. I don't have good advice. I'm actually very good at just accepting a lot of what's happened in my life. There are a few things that I'm like, yeah, that was a sucky time. But I don't necessarily regret it. I just look at them as lessons and things that I've grown from and come out on the better end of. But I know not everyone's in the same boat. Ginger accent, that's a new one. I like it. I'm well, thank you for asking, Jasper. How are you? I'm not familiar with the acronym PCL, though. Sorry, AWOL. Love your Aussie accent. Very close. New Zealand accent. It's going to be a Perry summer. Exactly. But seriously, if you guys are on Twitch, well, I guess, and on YouTube, thank you. Thank you. See, acquiesce knows, especially with that NZ in your name. But it is indeed a Kiwi accent. Hi, Rob. If you guys are on Twitch, please go check out Perry Carriol, because they really are a very, very good content creator. I am just blown away every time I am in their chat, I suppose. They're kind of intimidating. It's great. Remove regret. I was expecting an answer involving carpet cleaner. That's very fun. I'm gonna marry myself. I feel like it should be legal soon, you know. I don't want to be another husband, but I would like to be an online friend. Well, that's kind. That's very sweet. Well, welcome on in, Jasper. Thank you very much for being here. That is a good step for us to become online friends indeed. I've always learned some weird things, like I know there are 32 blocks behind you while you film this. Don't make me count them. But yes, there are at least 32 blocks behind me. That is, you know, technically correct. What do you do for work at this stage, William? I don't have a proper visa. I've just moved to a new country, and the visa I have does not allow me to pick up work in England, is where I'm living. So ask me again once I've got that. So at the moment, I am live streaming. Though that being said, I don't make a lot of money on this, but I am not paying rent, so it makes it a little bit easier. All I have to do is pay for some food to feed myself, and the live streaming pays for that, at least. She's AI, exactly. Hello, hello, hello. Barry is huge in the fencing community. Today I learned Perry's content is very good, yes. I'm always spilling regret on the carpet. It's like, oh gosh, yes. I don't get me wrong. I think it was very funny. I appreciate the moral support in return. I want to get married with your ginger accent. You know what, Joe? Let it be done. Let it be done. Historically, a lot of instance, but right now in Tibet, it is very common. I know wisdom has just gotten banned, but I always find these kinds of messages funny. You talk too much and it is very annoying. Like, what do they think I should do on a live stream? Should I just not talk? And I say this very, very often. Should I just have dead air? Is that what they want? I suppose they could be the type of person who's like, oh, go play a game or like put something else on. Because people who do say, do react content or play video games, that kind of becomes the content rather than the yippee yapper. So you know what? I'll give them as much leeway as I can, even if it is ridiculous. Hi, Kuru. How you going? Or Tekuru. Well, welcome on in. Thank you very much for stopping by. Don't feel like you have to stay, but it's a pleasure for you to try out the channel nonetheless. Why would you move from the wonderful New Zealand to the miserable English weather? Well, first of all, let me clear up some things. The English weather is not that bad. People in England are miserable about the weather, but the weather itself is actually more consistent than what I had growing up. Because in New Zealand, and I say this as someone who spent the holidays in New Zealand this year, it was awful. It was the peak of summer and it was raining and flooding and you never knew what you were going to get. I also lived in Melbourne for 10 years. Same thing. At least here in England, it's consistent, which is usually gloomy and not even raining. It's actually, the rain actually is less than what I am used to. I grew up with more rain than I am getting in England. It is just a misconception, and that misconception comes from the constant cloud coverage rather than rain itself. It does make it feel a little bit miserable when you're like, oh, gray clouds again. And then when you see the slight blue skies, it makes it a little bit nicer, but it is a bit rare. But I also live very south of England, so the weather is better than what it can be in some places. So let's get that misconception out of the way. Secondly, New Zealand is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it is very far away from a lot of other countries. And so the way to travel is very expensive. If you want to just do a quick trip to Italy, well, first of all, it's not going to be a quick trip. It's going to be like a 30-hour flight one way, including stopovers, and it's also going to cost you thousands of dollars. Whereas now, I can just go check out some flights and they'll be like, if I'm really on top of things, can get a flight for £20. It's awesome. So I have moved to England so that I can travel Europe. That is the answer. Hopefully I have given you a satisfying answer, because it has been very exciting to explore different cultures. I've already been to the Balkans, like Slovenia and Croatia. I'm going to Denmark later in the year. I'm going to Spain. I'm going to Iceland. These are all places that I can add to my list, despite only having live streaming as my full-time job as well. I'm a very happy girl. And yes, there might be some other countries that would have been nicer to live, but they're not necessarily English speaking, and it's harder to get a visa. So, oh my God, Iceland's your next trip. Wait, are you going to go see the total eclipse by any chance, or are you just going to Iceland in general? You were born in Croatia? No way. Oh my gosh. And then migrated over a little bit. Ah, that's so cool. Hi, Ligmag. Good to have you back here. Ligmag, you made it early this time. It's so good to see you. And Mateus, hello. Sorry, I'm just catching up with the people who have come in. Hugh, you don't talk enough. 25-hour talk radio station, and I'd be fine as well. Hi, Alpaca. Oh, I'm sorry that, I believe that you actually probably did trip down the stairs, and I hope you're okay. Referring to the last part of the Rex, I heard a saying, I think I will keep it in mind. Essentially, don't trust a last-minute good idea. I'm from New Zealand, in answer to your question, by the way. Pop from YouTube recommendation. Well, welcome. I could Cleopatra or Nefertiti doing it. I don't know what you mean by that, but that is quite the comment. Yeah, I like the reaction stream too. Are you actually just chatting? Jeez, cringe. Wisdom is just being mean for the sake of it. Well, that's the thing is, I find it really difficult to relate to those people. It is up to them to have the free will to decide whether to comment something nasty, for example. And it's like they just don't have the self-awareness to realize, or maybe they didn't learn the whole, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It doesn't faze me. I just find it fascinating. I find it fascinating because I don't understand, nor do I relate to that mentality. And so then it becomes a bugbear, not because it's offended me, but because I'm trying to understand why. Like, I just want to know why won't they just be happier people if they just move on? You know what I mean? It just breaks my heart is what it does. It breaks my heart. Oh my gosh. Ever tried a day trip to France from New Zealand? Yeah, not happening. Not happening. I saw one reaction stream. I'd love to dedicate an hour or something to the news which interests you before chatting. Oh, well, out of curiosity, Joe, where was the news being read from? Because I think one of the reasons why I really struggle with keeping up with the news when live on stream is because I don't know which news sources to actually read on stream, because it can be very contested. Do a 360. Well, I don't know if you're still here, Spy, but if you're still here, I'll do a 360 for you. What time is it? It is only 8:30 in the morning, Morticia. From Australia, it is better to go to Japan or China or Vietnam. Exactly. From Australia, Southeast Asia and Asia in general, much closer, but still not close. But you are correct. There are a lot more people, especially who like to go to Japan. Not if you're rich, yes. Well, there's the issue, you see, Peggy. There's an issue with that one. The YouTube channel has not quite popped off yet. I wish I could just travel around the world. Yeah, that's me as well. I'd love to do far, far, far more travel. And that is why I am in Europe now. It depends on a lot of things like the timing. Gotcha, Clover. So see how you go, because I know that when I was looking, because I'm going for the total eclipse for Iceland, so I actually recommend, if you haven't booked flights already, don't go during the total eclipse if it's not a priority for you, because accommodation is just ridiculously expensive. I managed to get the last bed in a hostel, which is the only reason I can even go. I was meant to go with my friend, and then I booked it because she was kind of on the fence about it. And then I saw there was one bed left, and I was like, well, I'm going regardless. And so she will not be coming with me unless she has a spare like $2,000 for 3 days to spare. New Zealand was designed to be far away from the rest of the world to keep its unique personality, the haka, and I feel that adds to the charm of New Zealand, and it absolutely does. And I love going back to New Zealand. I actually am planning on going back at the end of the year as well. But I wanted to do some more travel around Europe. The total eclipse, Yannick, is in August, and I think that northern Spain technically sees it, but they see it at about 8:30 at night 8:30 in the evening when it's starting to be sunset anyway. So I don't quite know how that will look when watching it on the horizon. Which is why I wanted to go to Iceland for it instead. Have you watched the movie Green Street Hooligans? I have not, but we have spoken about it, so I am aware of it, because this is about the football, as in soccer, right? Good morning, Oaken Hill. Good to have you back here. Lovely to see you. And Mr. Newbie, thank you for the compliment.
I'm doing my part.
Are you tough? No, I am not tough. I am not tough whatsoever. Definitely not. My grandpa used to say, nothing good to say nothing. Yeah, exactly. It's that's the phrase that a lot of these people haven't learned. Hi, Alex. But in my 20s, I love traveling. But now in my 30s, I just want to stay home. Well, I suppose that you've had your opportunity to travel, and so now you're able to kind of just chill. Whereas I traveled when I was a kid. My parents, my dad would take us to various places when we were younger. And so that was really cool. But I think that, because in my 20s, I was in Australia. And so I went to Canada at least. That was really cool. But I wouldn't say that I was out of my way traveling. And so I guess that's why if you have that opportunity in your youth, then you can take it. But like I said, Australia and New Zealand so very far away from the places I want to travel. So that's why I'm getting it done in my 30s, or at least my early 30s. 360, just your head. Well, I don't want to freak out people too much, you know. Better to be silent and thought to be wise than open your mouth and prove yourself a fool. I like that one. Hi from Los Angeles. There we go. Very cool. The 360 camera was broken just last night. So sorry, mate. Exactly. But it looks like they might not be around. Are you real or AI? You have to decide that yourself. Like, what do you think an AI's response would be? Ooh, let's find out what an AI's response would be. I'll chuck on Gemini. And then flights are even more expensive because of Iran. Well, yeah. I managed to get mine earlier, and especially coming from England, it's not too bad. In Europe, the travel temptation gets strong, exactly, especially when they try to tempt me with 20-pound flights. I'm from Japan. Ah, there we go. That's where where you're from. That's so cool. Well, welcome on in. Konnichiwa. Do a 360 no scope. Oh my gosh. No scope got changed to endoscope on my keyboard, and very tempted. A 360 endoscope. You can choose where you want to, if you want to share where you're from, yes, but it's completely up to you. Okay. Bowl-sized cup of tea, always. This one is just a rooibos today, rather than the black tea that I normally drink. Just nice. The accents are very bad in Green. I've already forgotten the Green Street Hooligans. There we go. That Charlie has an awful voice. Which one's Charlie? Hi from the U.S. Army. Well, hello. I don't really know what the salute is. I do apologize. Your channel will definitely pop up. Oh, Skoku, thank you. That is very sweet. I'm just very pleased to see how many people have subscribed already. It is insane. Like, it's genuinely flattered me so much. I'm almost 30. I've got 1 month left, Alpaca. 1 month. What would you say your channel is about? My channel! I've been really trying to work on this. My channel is about allowing people an opportunity to discuss whatever they want to discuss. I don't know. The thing is, I would say that I facilitate conversations, but I don't know if that's specific enough to make people understand what that means. I think facilitating conversations is probably the best way I can phrase it. So whatever people want to talk about, we kind of divulge in. I like learning from others. I love people. I love seeing what they get excited about. I love hearing from another person's perspective. And sometimes it's as simple as talking about movies. Other times we discuss other more deeper topics. It's a little eclectic, I suppose. Thoughts on peeing in the pool? Not a fan. Personally, not a fan. There are too many people who put water in their mouth, and I don't think they should be subjected to having water mixed with pee in their mouth as well. I'm well, Rit. How are you? When you're ready, remind me to drop a fact that makes sense when you actually think about it. Yes, sir. You're so pretty. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. I feel like sometimes people say mean things online because the anonymity gives them escape from consequences. Yes, 100% sure. 100% on that one, Goku. They're just sad in their own life and want others to feel the same. Yeah, it's that attacking, right? I feel sad, so now I must be angry at the world kind of situation. It sucks. I am AI. This is an automated response. Hello, everyone. I want to be a ninja. Hi, Ronaldo. How you going? My middle name is Rowan Oscar because I'm half white. My dad's a white American. Yes, I remember you saying this, Rit. My channel is about daily conversations done with a care factor of more than 0. So Charlie Hunnam, his voice was more believable in Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, I wouldn't know about his accent. But what I will say is when I was watching The Prince of Egypt, Ramesses, who is Moses' brother who becomes the pharaoh, I kept on going, who the bloody hell is that voice actor? Their voice is so, well, one, beautiful to listen to, and I could not I could not pinpoint it. And so I had to look it up, and it was Ralph Fiennes. And I was like, yep, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then it also reminded me of our conversation about received pronunciation and Brits versus Americans. And so in The Prince of Egypt, they had Patrick Stewart and Ralph Fiennes as the pharaohs with these very grand received pronunciation. And Helen Mirren was the queen, just as an extra one. And so that kind of like posh accent, I suppose, as opposed to the Hebrews had all of the American accents, and I was like, interesting. It was just reminding me of our conversation about dialects. That's all. And this isn't a channel, it's a cult. Exactly right. We're going to shave our heads. If you haven't already, Rob, sorry. Are you telling me that you haven't already shaved your head and you're calling yourself a part of our cult? Get to it. Get to it. Yeah, I'm a fish podcast as well. We're just a little bit of everything. Hey, yes, but you're from South Africa. I visited South Africa for the first time just a few months ago. Oh, that is very kif. That is extremely kif. It is very cool to have you here. I loved my time in South Africa. I was on the Western Cape rather than anywhere else, and I'd love to come back. It was beautiful. I had the best time. I genuinely did. It was absolutely wonderful. Well, welcome on in. All water has most likely been pee before, several times before anyway. So, Nine Fox, are you calling yourself out as someone who is pro peeing in the pool? GTA 6 or 7? Ridiculous. 6 in answer to the question. I'm not American. No. I am in England, but I'm a New Zealander. Hi, Ethan. Guess who's back again. Hi, Ethan. Can you say the word no? Yes, I can, but I'm not Australian, and even if I was, Australians don't say no like everyone thinks they do. There you go. I enjoy people's perspectives on things, says Goku, and I love hearing stories from their lives. Yes, people are so fascinated, aren't they? Everyone has a unique story to tell, and I love listening to them. You might know Charlie Hunnam from either Sons of Anarchy, The Gentleman, or maybe The First Pacific Rim. I'm sure that if I look them up, I'll know their face for sure. For sure. What up, gang? Ralph Fiennes, English legend. And like I said, as soon as I found out that it was him, I went, that absolutely makes sense. Mm-hmm. Someone in chat is possessed by an owl. Who? Rafe Fiennes. Is that correct, Boba? Is that why you said R-A-F-E? Rafe Fiennes. Is that correct now? Operation Anthropoid is a great movie as well. I don't know this one, with Cillian Murphy and Jamie Dornan. Okay, cool. There we go. I almost dropped a tomato on my keyboard. Why are you carrying a tomato near your keyboard is my real question, kindness. Hi, Cody Cameron. Biraj, I've answered several of your messages. I don't know what else you want me to say. I have answered several of your messages. I said hi. I gave you a salute when you said from the US Army, and then you repeated it, said that I was ignoring you, even though I had said hi. I answered whether I'm from North Carolina. I don't know what more you want from me, Biraj. I don't know. Anyway, hi. Keep waiting till the game starts. Welcome on in. Hi, Dirty Dan. I did a #1 during lockdown. Not as great as I was hoping. Now you're just making me think about... Oh, so, okay, see, Mama. The reason why I was so confused about this message is because I obviously you were talking about the head shaving. However... because we were also talking about peeing in swimming pools, I was like, sorry? What? You're very open about doing a #1 during lockdown, that you were specifically peeing in a swimming pool during lockdown. First of all, lucky you for having a swimming pool during a lockdown. Anyway, I got there in the end. Would you shave your hair? Where was this for? Was it $100 million? Yes, of course I would. I'd shave my hair for a lot less than 100 million. Oh, wait, hold on. You've said 100 million, yes or no. I would not shave my hair for someone to yell 100 million yeses or nos at me, if that's what your grammar is implying. Please share the currency of the 100 million before we commit to whether or not we would do it, okay? Thank you for visiting our diverse country. I freaking loved it. I loved South Africa. I really, really want to go back. Good morning, Herring. Did you see the last study where they let all the big AI agents loose on a community and surprise they formed fractions and were very destructive while trying to replicate themselves? That is fascinating. I did not see that, Clover Crimson. I went to a wedding today. Well, I hope it was lovely. Are you a little bit buzzed? I don't know if you're one that drinks alcohol, but I know that a lot of people like to get a bit buzzed when they go to their weddings. I visited Auckland once where I met this Anglo-Indian kid. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of Indian immigration to New Zealand, so that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I once drove past North Carolina. You're just like, hi, bye. I am going to keep playing Red Dead Redemption, yes. I absolutely am going to continue. I had some computer technical difficulties last time I was playing, so I will pick that up again tomorrow. Today, we're not going to play Red Dead, though. Today is going to be Oblivion Day, and then tomorrow we'll play some Red Dead. Hi from the US Army, repeated again, despite the fact that they were talking about the fact that I was ignoring their messages. So, Barrage, instead of you being concerned about me ignoring your messages, maybe I'm concerned that you're not listening. So let me see. Barrage, can you tell me what your favorite color is? Please. That would be very, very appreciated. Have you heard about the art installation that someone floating in a pool of water? The pool is fed from a portaloo. Guests are invited to use it, and the water is filtered and added to the pool. I've not heard of this whatsoever. Is it something I should look up? Is it? Because it sounds kind of wild. Hi, James. What are we watching, Millie? What are we watching? Also, I find this funny. No wonder this one doesn't have a man. The constant talking is incessant. One, assuming that I don't have a man. Just think about that, James. I don't know if you're still here, but just think about that. That is an assumption that you made. And two, of course the talking is incessant. I'm on a live stream. Do you want dead air? That is what live stream and radio is about, is being able to fill the dead air. Otherwise, it just ends up being like this. Fuck you, Herring. Anyhow, hello from Italy, and another Italian. Oh my gosh, a ginger! Get the camera in the ginger cage. Indeed. Watch out for the spider. It lives there. It catches all my bugs, you know. And from Sri Lanka as well. Hi, Sanu. In their right mind, wouldn't pee in a poo. In a poo. That was an accident. I didn't mean to say that. It wouldn't be in a pool. If I'm in a pool, I 100% have a beer and pissing all the time. I think it's fine in the ocean, but in the pool, I guess if they're chucking a bunch of chlorine in it. Anyway, I don't like peeing in the pool. That is all. Oh my goodness. I'll shave my head for 7,000 Zimbabwean dollars. Zimbabwean dollar. You know, James Bond First Light is going to be released. I have no knowledge about this whatsoever. I am well, thank you for asking, Joel, and I hope you're well too. Good morning, Ian. Barrage from the US Army, yeah. Isn't that crazy? How's it going in the UK? I'm having the best time. Thank you so much for asking. And I hope you're well as well. It's just, yeah, I'm very settled in. I love my location. I popped into London recently to go see a show. I've got a group of D&D friends now that I hang out with every week to play some games. And I've got a bunch of European trips planned for the rest of the year. I feel like I'm really really settled. Achieving exactly what I wanted to achieve with my move, basically. Oh, this peel talk reminded me that I saw a kid's book at the library called The Boy Who Cried a Poo. The kid has to keep getting out of a pool to go to loo with no lock. Two spoilers, he pops in the pool. Oh my god! Ay, ay, ay. I'm not in Italy, no. We were saying hi to other Italians. Oh, you're all good, Rob, about the games. You're fine. I feel like Clem would be a great voice actor. Thank you. I would love to do a voiceover job at least once. It's on my bucket list. Yes, I am okay. I'm in an attic, though, rather than a basement. I saw a streamer test dead air. Viewers doubled for 40 minutes, but did eventually drop. I guess people are wondering what's going on and waiting for something to happen. Anyway, it's fine. Pool Poo Bandit from Invercargill. Japers! There's a very big difference between pooing in a pool and peeing in a pool, though. Right amount of deep, low tones and clear, high ones. Thank you, I think. I know serving in the US Army increases the chances to become a US citizen. Ah, okay. I helped my ma clean her attic and found my old Nintendo. That's so cool. You're always in London. Oh my gosh. Well, I am not too far. I'm down in Southampton. It's boring. Well, I like popping into London for when I want to pop into London. Part. The exposed brick, exactly. Hi, Lullaby. Good to have you back. And Blessed, welcoming in. Kia ora, Michael. Hello again. Herbert from Family Guy. Which one is Herbert again? Is he the old man? Like the old creepy man? Gonna have a fish tank with a pothos growing out of it by Christmas. I wish. I actually did get a pothos, by the way. It lives downstairs at the moment, so I will take a photo for those people who care. For those who don't know what a pothos is, I bought a plant. I have a plant downstairs. Hi, Cactus John. I didn't realize that was you popping in. My first ever concert is in a week. What are you gonna go see, Ethan? I hope you have the best time. Oi, oi, oi! Your hair is awesome. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Southampton sucks. Southampton's fine. It's not a good place to go if you're a tourist is all. But as someone living here, it's fine. It's got everything you need. Oopsies. You just couldn't resist. You have to find a new funny number now. Yes, a Weasley in it. We're not that far back, Sarian. I've only got one page, which is good. Is anyone from Bikini Bottom with a BA? Fascinating. Chelsea is worse. Yeah, but that's because it's basically London. Orange Rooms make banging burgers. I'm not familiar with Orange Rooms. So, you're saying that's in Southampton? Shall I check it out? Hi, Nick. Hi, Aaron. A nuclear plant. Yes, exactly. That's the one. It's like Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. I'm supposed to be in bed 3 hours ago, but Forza Horizon. Enjoy. I hope you're having the best time. Backed up a long way. I need some more fiber in my diet. Guess who has 2 thumbs and enjoys seeing this community? This guy. Love to hear Cody Cameron. I'm going to see a band called Ozone. They made Numa Numa. I have heard that song, but I don't know anything else that they sing. So I hope that you enjoy checking it out. That sounds like a wild time. I know the haka holds a significance in New Zealand culture, but what is it really about? Is it a traditional dance? So haka is basically several dances. So the idea behind it, there's no one haka. The idea behind it is to show solidarity and community and connection with other people. And so it can be used in a very intimidating way, which is where a lot of people will see that in terms of sports, where they're showing how much of a freaking unit they are, and it's meant to be this intimidation. But you can also do that in very happy occasions, so celebrating together at a wedding, for example, or you can also grieve together. So a haka can be performed at a funeral, for example, to show the empathy, the sympathy, and the connected grieving. So it is a lot of different ways of using it. That's kind of just a quick surface level FYI. If you like good beef burger, 100% check Orange. Well, that's unfortunate because I am a vegetarian. But I'll see what they have and I'll let you know if they do a vegetarian burger. Okay, how about that? Affen Sheffield, gotcha. Yes, there you go. You got bikini. I suck at math. You got bikini now. You well done. It's bikini if that helps. I call the cops on you because it should be illegal to be so beautiful. Well, I hope that they're quick, because they gotta book me and get out of so I can get out of here. How much was the dye in your hair? Well, I guess my hair is falling out, so every time it dyes, I guess like probably about 2% dye. If you mean DYE, $0. Do it yourself. It's grow over 30 years. I'm currently at 7-Eleven right now, just getting a quick fast food late night cravings. Enjoy. I love the music, and the best part is that our seats are all the way at the front. Oh my gosh, and you can get their signature. That's so exciting. I have the best time. Hi, Kia. I know, it's already been an hour. How has that happened? My goodness gracious. The best part is the seats that I got. We read this. Time does move so fast. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's called genetics. So I guess if you want to talk about the dye in my hair, you'll just have to do a long list of figuring out how much I cost over the course of my life. Hi, Vax. How you going? What if ozone were to perform air supply? I like it. Yes, I am a vegetarian. This person I met a little while back taught me some stuff about veganism, and I feel so conflicted. I don't know. I'm trying to stop. As in, like, so if I don't care if people eat meat. First of all, in terms of why I do it, I just feel healthier when I eat a vegetarian diet rather than eating meat. When I eat meat, it weighs very heavy on me, not consciously but physically. But I am a big believer of reducing your consumption of meat because of environmental practices. I know a lot of people do it for because they're against animal cruelty. There's nothing wrong with that. That is a very kind and empathetic way of approaching veganism. But admittedly, that's not why I'm vegetarian. And I'm vegetarian, not vegan anyhow. But we do not need meat 3 times a day. And so reducing the consumption of meat will help the industries go smaller and be better for the environment. So I think that it is good to remind ourselves of that. That's it. That's my PSA. I'll do a bit more research on the Hawkeye. I only saw it once in a YouTube video. They did it after a rugby match. Usually they do it before a rugby match, admittedly, Goku. If they were doing this after the rugby match, maybe they were celebrating. But that is where most people will see a haka perform, is because it is now a tradition of... and so actually what would happen, Goku, here's a little bit more information, is that Maori people, because haka comes from the Maori culture, and the Maori people, and it is not exclusive to Maori people. So Polynesian cultures also perform a form of haka. They have different names for it as well, but that could also be a fun thing. So sometimes if you see a Maori rugby match versus some of the Polynesian islands, they both do a haka, and it's so freaking cool because it's meant to be this like this intimidation where it's like, this is how we look and that's how they look, and it's showing how strong and how fired up they are, ready for the sports match. So and that can come from older traditions of trying to suss out whether or not the visitors are well intentioned or if they're ready for a fight. And so that has some roots as well. Hopefully that teaches a little bit more. But I find it fascinating. I love it. It's awesome. Any mods over here? Yes. There are definitely mods in the YouTube channel. They just work really, really, really hard. Gary, thank you, blessed. Much appreciated. My fact is, do you know sparkling water generally weighs slightly more than still water if measured at the same volume? For example, 1 liter. While the carbonation creates bubbles, it adds dissolved carbon dioxide molecules, which are denser and heavier than the water molecules that they displace, and therefore it would be heavier. That's so cool! It would probably be such a small amount that is different, but it's still different. I don't know the burger meme. Sorry, Ronaldo. Not familiar with that one. I respect my grey hairs in my bed. Oh, I'm so... in my bed. In my beard. I'm so sorry, Dirty Dan. I should be respecting the elders indeed. The vegetarian novel. Oh, I don't know that one. Thank you, Ethan. Much appreciated. I hope you have the best time watching your thing. Hi, Brooke. Hello, hello. Hi, Hams. Good to have you guys here. Yes, so yeah, I'm multi-streaming. You got it. Hi, Nika. How you going? Crows as well. Much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. At least you're close enough to Bristol. Yes, I really want to go to Bristol. I've heard amazing things. I actually was thinking of moving to Bristol, but when I have someone who is willing to house me with no rent, then of course I come to Southampton, you know. But we'll see how things turn out. If I end up wanting to leave here and find somewhere on my own, once I earn a little bit more money, then I might look at other cities. But for now, it's a good situation I have, but I definitely want to check out Bristol for sure. Do you miss eating hamburgers? Not really. I eat burgers that are made of different things. So mushrooms or a lentil burger or a black bean burger or a sweet potato burger or cauliflower burger. Like there, honestly, a lot of people don't realize how tasty a vegetarian burger can be. They can also be really, really, really bad though. So keep that in mind. But I don't miss eating burgers because I can still eat burgers. It's just the beef in particular. I don't miss beef. If anything, I miss fish instead of red meat. Red meat I don't have any cravings for, but every now and again I see a piece of sushi with a bit of salmon on it and I'm like, oh. Oh. Hi, music. If everyone stopped eating meat, however, lots of breed of cattle, sheep, pigs would vanish as there would be no reason to keep them. So us meat eaters are keeping the cute animals alive. Oh my gosh, that is a good way of looking at it. But I also think that that's why I'm not about turning everyone vegetarian, but just reducing our consumption. And also, it's not so much that they would just vanish; it's that they wouldn't be bred to excess. They would just breed as they did before we domesticated them. If you could control an alchemical element such as fire, water, earth, or air, what would it be? Probably air, because I feel like I could move some of the other things with air. Does that make sense? If you my music. Oh, right. Yeah, you're talking to someone, not to me. I thought you were talking about your own music. Guys, stop yelling at each other. There's no need for it. Bristol is the only place in England that I considered over Sheffield. There we go. If I had infinite money. Is it expensive over there? Is it? Yeah, well, I'll check it out. Okay. Have you tried Impossible Burgers? Yes, I have tried Impossible Burgers, but I found that I don't miss the taste of meat, and so therefore an Impossible Burger doesn't excite me. I have been meat-free for so long. I think that Impossible Burgers or Beyond Meat Burgers, they have a great place for people who are transitioning from meat to vegetarian, but I've been vegetarian for so long, so I don't miss and crave the taste of meat, and so I would lean towards a veggie patty over an Impossible Burger. Because the taste of like that fake taste of meat. Actually, it's not, I say fake taste. They do a great job. They really do. A lot of people think Impossible Burgers are very tasty, but it's not what I eat, so it doesn't affect me so much. Hi, Darren. How come you're vegetarian? When I eat meat, I feel very, very bloated and I feel very heavy, and I just don't. It just doesn't feel good. Whereas when I turned vegetarian, I felt healthier, I felt lighter, I felt a lot of people talk about iron and protein. My iron and protein actually increased when I became a vegetarian because I was eating more dark green dark green leafy vegetables and legumes. I was more conscious about my diet, and so I just felt much healthier, and so I stayed vegetarian basically. Vegan protein powder? Yeah, but the thing is, the other thing to consider is if you're trying to increase your protein as a vegetarian or vegan, if you're not like an elite athlete, then you get the amount of protein you need in a in your diet if you're eating legumes and whatnot. But yeah, I could imagine vegan. Well, okay, actually, Christopher, what is in protein powder that would not be vegan? Like, isn't protein powder just a substitute anyway? What's in there that would be, like, is it milk? What's in protein powder that is not vegan? Because as someone who doesn't, oh, it's whey. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. It repairs the brain. I've never heard of that before. I will need to see more evidence of that because that's the first time I've ever heard someone talk about it repairing the brain. Yeah, exactly. Dairy. That makes sense. Yes. That's why I wanted to double check what it was. But the whey is a byproduct. So here is something that I don't know is true because I know that I look like I'm an absolute swole motherfucker, but I don't work out. And so I don't need to get extra supplements to aid these muscles. No way, exactly. And so my understanding is that unless you are really, really trying to bulk up, then the excess protein is not necessary for a regular diet. And you guys be the judge on this. Like many things, I have heard that whey was basically an it is a byproduct of making things like dairy and yogurt. And then capitalist industry goes, oh, well, there's all this byproduct. What can we do to aid like all of this byproduct that would just go in the bin? Why don't we sell it? And so do your own research. But my understanding is that protein powder may in fact just be an industry and capitalist selling point. Creatine instead of protein? Okay, all right. But this is what I mean, is I don't consume these, so definitely something to look into rather than just accepting that it is.
I'm doing my part.
You're right, you reckon? Whey is what isn't cheese. Not to be confused with curds. Egg is protein as well. Creatine just makes you log water. Yeah, I don't even know what creatine is. Creatine is for exercise and muscle building. Then how come everyone's like, oh my God, protein powder, gotta get my protein in my protein shake? No, it's definitely protein. It's not creatine. Whey is a byproduct. It's true, but they used to use it to add muscle mass to carbs. Well, I guess not just carbs. Let's create and market and tell people will help them. Tale as old as time. What should I sing for my next school singing competition? Asked Ethan. Welcome to the Paradise by Green Day or How to Save a Life. Well, you said How to Save a Life, so I think that I will keep with your original idea of how to save a life. That is my thought. Why not eat sushi if it doesn't make you feel bleh? Yeah. I ask myself that a lot, Dirty Dan. Sushi, however, or rather fish, I will say is more because I do have more of a moral reason of why I don't eat fish. If you look into overfishing and trawling and just all of the fishing practices, I am just morally against how a lot of that is practiced. And so although I don't have the same reason when it comes to red meat, for fishing it definitely is more of a moral thing. Okay, Bristol Renters and St. Damn. Okay. Wild Horses, I Wish You Were Here would be some good ones too. Good choices, Christopher, for the songs. Okay, I'm going to catch up with some things. Enjoy your hot dog, Sarian. Hot smoked salmon. Yeah, salmon's so good. Where are you from? Where are you born? So I'm from New Zealand, but I live in the UK now. In answer to that... Okay, I think that we'll kind of skip over this. I realize that England is short for English land. Not quite, although maybe you might be correct. That's not one I've heard before, I'll say that. The other thought on the anti-consumption of animals bred to eat is the fact that the different species could re-diversify and humans have culled any variations for breeding purpose. Yes, I agree with this as well. Are you telling me your mouth doesn't water at the sight of steak cooked to perfection? Not anymore, not anymore. But I will say, Christopher, just coming back to the meat versus vegetarian talk, I would sooner have a lovely piece of steak than I would mince, because whenever I smell people cooking mince, which is kind of just all of the stuff that people don't really care about mushed into mince, rather than being high goodness, when people cook mince, I actually feel ill these days. My old housemate, when I was living back in Australia, they were vegetarian when we met, and then they decided to stop being vegetarian. So they started cooking a whole bunch of meat again, and I felt so violently ill whenever they would cook beef mince meat. It was so disgusting. Chicken was fine. It was whatever, but and if they were to do, they didn't really do steaks or chops or anything like that, admittedly, but the mince meat, and I've had this in the past as well when other people would cook mince meat. Like I can stomach the smell of cooking lamb chops or beef steak or whatever it is, but mince meat makes me feel so violently ill. You can just smell how wrong it is. It's just wrong. So enjoy your steaks, enjoy your chops, but mince meat, I can tell you, my nose is telling me that is not what you should be eating. Beef in particular, yes, but that's because the people who have been cooking mince were only cooking beef mince. So I don't know if it would be the same for, say, chicken mince or even lamb mince. Okay, what if you're a regular non-elite athlete? I think even then, like if you're running a lot, you don't need excess amount of protein. It's just something that people tell everyone. But like I said, do your own research. I wish I could let go of animal protein, but my doctor said I really can't. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, make sure you, again, listen to your body and what you need. Pea protein? I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, catching up. Dirty Dan, I am 29, almost 30. I'm 30 in 30 days. Ooh, I feel like that's almost correct. 7, 14, 21. Oh my God! I'm 30 in exactly 30 days! Because in 4 weeks today, that's the 14th of June, which is 28 days, plus 2 is my birthday! I'm 30 in 30 days! It's happening, yeah. The countdown to the back being thrown out, it begins. Well, actually, on that, I went for a run yesterday, and my hip is actually feeling okay today. So I feel like I am getting stronger, which is good. Yes, that's my impression as well, Christopher, is that it's if you're trying to build muscle. If you're just like doing body weight training and you're doing running, then your body will be fine. But if you're trying to bulk up, then protein can help for sure. That I agree with. But having like the yogurt with extra protein or peanut butter with extra protein, that's where it's just a marketing ploy for sure. Yes, yeah, dehydrated egg whites and yogurt. I know a lot of people used to eat a lot of eggs. Happy birthday for 30 days. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. English? No, English is my first language, Mateus, if you're still here. I can speak some other languages, but English is my first. Okay, so it repairs tissues for protein. We need protein to help our body repair all kinds of tissue, and that includes the brain. That I can accept, Fossil. Thank you so much for that clarification as well. Thank you, Goku. Do your thing. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your weekend. Okay, Dan. I think whey is the scum that forms on the top and is skimmed off, and then they're like, what can we do with this? Insects do have a lot of protein. Hey, Corey. I know a lot of people are like, insects, but you know, we start eating stuff somehow. A lot of Asian cultures eat insects. I would have no issues with eating insects as long as they're tasty, you know. But I feel like if you just deep fry an insect, then you're just eating deep fried badness, you know? I would struggle to stay strong if I went fully vegetarian. I know a lot of people have this idea, and I'm not saying you would, that's not the case, Darren, but I also know that there are a whole bunch of people who are vegetarian or vegan as athletes, and so as in like paid professional athletes. But they might not be people who are necessarily doing strongman stuff, and that might be where the extra protein or meat, etc., can assist. Because I do think you can do it as a vegetarian or vegan, but the amount of food to, say, compensate for a block of steak is copious amounts. And so I do think there is still a misconception about vegetarians and vegans not being able to have as strong muscles. But not in a way that I'm like, you must now be vegetarian or vegan. I don't freaking care. I just I think that it is a misconception, and I think a lot of people are told that you must be eating like 6 chicken breasts in a day to keep up with these things, and I don't believe that. But I say that as someone who doesn't work out, so what do I know, you know? Okay, just scrolling through the way. Many things are just byproducts they want to make more money off. That's what I thought whey was. I just found out how tater tots were originally made. Ooh, I don't know this one. My mate is a vegan bodybuilder. I asked him how he got his protein. He told me, no way. Is creatine the stuff you paint the fence with? You have to tell me about that one. Okay. Protein is better than creatine. Creatine is all lab. But yeah, I don't even know what creatine is. Like, I've heard the word, but I don't know what it is, you know. Protein, if you aren't getting enough in your daily diet, will actually help you recover. Okay, so it's for about, well, that's what Vossel was saying as well. It's more about recovery rather than, but muscle building, you often have to like, I'm going to say the terms very badly, but like break down your muscles so that when it repairs bigger and stronger. And so in that case, protein would be very useful because it is helping with that repair process. But creatine, however, helps bulk muscles way more than by only using protein. Okay, so if you're trying to do muscle building, you got to have that balance. Curd is the cheese and whey is the byproduct. Thank you, Oakenhill. Have a good lunch. Stop drinking soy powder. Soy farming is very bad for the environment. There we go. Yeah, I don't have soy myself for the most part when I'm having milks. Sufficient protein is needed for muscle reparation. There we go. Creatine, however, allows more water into the muscle, causing saturation and making it look fuller. So that's the waterlogging, right? I think that's what that was all about. Okay. Do you have a plan for your 30th? Yes, I do have a plan for my 30th. I will catch up with all of this and then I will tell you my plans for my 30th. Okay, because I wanted to learn all of this. New Zealander, not Aussie, by the way. Oh, we're very far behind, but I am trying to skip through this. Creatine is trash that allows your body to hold more water, and that's the appearance. Okay, cool. You guys have taught me today. That's awesome. Okay. Eat all things you feel like eating and your heart lets you. Do not get caught up on the powder high. Exactly, and that's how I look at it, Clover Crimson. I just eat what my body likes to eat. So for example, you guys are going to find this really, really depressing. I have found out that I have an intolerance to onions and garlic. Well, fructans is basically what I have an intolerance to. I did a low FODMAP diet and yeah, so I can't really eat onion or garlic. You know, the thing that people put in almost everything. No wonder I was having so many issues. But now I know. And that is an example. I know, isn't it depressing? But this is an example where I can't eat those things because they don't make me feel good. I get extremely bloated, for anyone who is curious, and so much so that I actually end up in pain. If you want the TMI info, I actually don't have any troubles on the other end, like some people do. I know that, for example, a dairy intolerance that affects the other end. That's not what affects me. Yes, I have, the serious one that actually gets affected by both. Yes, I did a low FODMAP because I would get extreme bloating, and cramping, and I was wondering what it is, and like, I could see it. I could look at my stomach and it would look like I was pregnant, basically. Yep, even spring onions as well. And so I went on what's called a low FODMAP diet, which people do when they have like IBS and stomach issues. And I cut out everything, which includes like beans and mushrooms and certain fruits, and I had such an improvement. And so then it became this idea of, okay, where is reintroduction? Where am I getting affected? And so I found out that I'm okay with like apples. Apples were one that I had to check, and I found out I was okay with mushrooms. Thank frick. And I found out I was okay with legumes for the most part. It's like with an asterisk, but I won't go into the details there because that one is a little bit more complex. Yeah, I need the super bland diet, exactly right. And over the course of way too long, I realized that it was what is called fructans my issue. So if I look up low FODMAP diet, then I will show you what it is. So my point is that you can't use what everyone else tells you is good for you. You only can deal with what your body, like, you need to listen to your body. If your body responds well to one food and not another, that is where you must listen to it. And for me, I don't respond well, clearly, to fructans and onions, but I also don't respond well very well to red meat. And even though I can agree that red meat is tasty, I'm not saying I don't think it's tasty. It is very tasty. But I wouldn't feel good after I eat it. Not morally, just physically. I wouldn't feel good. The same way I don't feel good after I eat onions. And so that's why I cut it out of my diet. So I cut that out, and then eventually cut out white meat and fish as well. Fish is more for a moral reason. Chicken was more because I just wanted to see if I could be a vegetarian. And I love being a vegetarian because it makes me feel physically just better. If you have sleep problems and take creatine, that can really help cognitive performance. Really, I do have sleep issues. Maybe I should look into this, and then my muscles will look freaking swole. Okay, I think that we can skip over all of these. That's with the happy birthdays. This is the way, says Little Miss Muffet. Hilarious. I think she's ready for the drop-off when she hits 30. She's a MILF territory. Well, I don't have the children as the problem, so I can't be a MILF. 28 years old, I just found out what's wrong with me. I suffer from having a bad brain. Am I Dunsky? Well, I feel like you've actually had a really coherent paragraph. You've had like no obvious grammar issues. So I think you're going to be just okay, Sonny. You've managed to last this long, and you'd know by now if you're going to have issues, I suppose. Healthy man of 30 going for a run is way more scary than having to kill the cow. I know a lot of people would not be able to do that. I am not one who would be able to. I think also for me, in terms of vegetarian, I'm a big believer that if I cannot kill and skin my own animal, then I shouldn't be allowed to eat it. So and I'm not saying you should go hunt for your own meals, but if you do not feel comfortable with killing a cow, you should not be allowed to kill a cow. I mean, eat a cow. So, for example, if you like I said, you don't have to go and get a cow and go and be comfortable just shooting it and now can benefit from its meat. But that to me shows people who are ignorant to what the system is, you know? My cats eat a lot of insects at Clover Crimson. I would have no issue apart from the fact that for the same amount of meat in a bull, for instance, we killed one bull, we can feed a lot of people insects. So like one setting needs to be 300. And yes, I can understand this as well. One breeding one, or even like a deer or something, like you said, can feed a lot more people. Okay. 6 chickens a day, yes, you must. You simply must eat 6 chickens to bulk up huge. I find it really hard to gain weight, says Christopher, and the protein shakes and flapjacks really help me get the calories up. There we go. And that's the thing is your body struggles to gain weight. You need to find what helps with that, and it sounds like you've done that. Guten Tag. Okay, I think that I am almost caught up. And Chris and Way together a lovely breakfast for arachnophobes indeed. Okay. Cool. Do you know dragonflies have a hunting success rate of 90 to 97%? Good for them. That's incredible. There are benefits from having creatine stores in your muscles and keeping them hydrated. Gotcha. Thanks, Arian. Now you know, knowing is half the battle. Indeed. Okay, 30 equals the start of joint issues. Yes, I am aware. I've been struggling with them for the last year. Every year after that, you'll get a free auto-installed DLC of an extra joint issue, and it will be an elbow, knee, wrist. Well, right now it's my hip, but that's actually why I'm trying to get into running and exercise, because I'm trying to look after my older self. And for me, as we can tell, I'm not a muscular lass, and so I need to build up the muscles to help with the joints, because usually it's not a joint issue, it's a muscle issue. If your muscles are not strong, they're not going to be able to hold your joints and keep them safe and snug. And so that is why I'm trying to get into some exercise now to look after my 40-year-old self while I still have a chance. Will your child also become vegetarian? If I have children, I don't think I would make them a vegetarian. I have a friend who was vegetarian from birth, and she's turned out just fine. But I don't think I would make my child vegetarian. I think, incidentally, if I'm cooking, that they'd probably eat a lot of vegetarian, but I wouldn't be like, you're not allowed to eat meat. But they will eat what I cook them. You know what I mean? And so if they go to a friend's house, if they go to school and they have a turkey sandwich or whatever it is, that doesn't faze me whatsoever. If I had a child, it would be up to them to make a decision. But if they want to eat meat in terms of dinner, well, then they will have to cook. And in that case, I think that's also a really beautiful thing. That shows that they would be showing an interest in cooking at a young age, and I would completely foster that, where it's like, well, they're like, oh, well, you know, little Timmy had a beef lasagna. And it's like, well, you're allowed to have a beef lasagna if you cook it. But until then, we're having a pumpkin lasagna. And so I wouldn't make my child vegetarian, but they would eat what I eat. And if I'm making dinner, then they will eat the dinner that I am eating. You know what I mean? Hopefully that was clear enough for you on here. I look at garlic swell up like a balloon. At least I still get snags and div. Yeah, that's not too bad. I do like Marmite, by the way, Oaken Hill, but not the English Marmite. I like the New Zealand Marmite. Winter, I can eat a lot of nuts and dried fruit, not so much in summer. Wow, okay. There we go. See you later, Yannick. Appreciate it. Yes, yeah, I'll look into that for you. Okay, you guys have run away from me again. I'm pretty sure I can't catch a cow anymore. If I ever could, I'd be stuck as a cannibal, being the only things I can actually catch. And that's the thing, is I think a lot of people also forget that when we talk about the meat that we used to eat in caveman days, we'd be lucky to be able to catch a deer or something. And so berries and nuts and foraging is the bulk of the meat, of the foods that we were consuming. They would be not eating meat so lavishly like we do now. And that is because of course, domestication of farm animals and how easy it is to breed them, and then of course sell meat to everyone. And meat also, even if we don't look at caveman days, was quite a delicacy and reserved for kings, like those big pork roasted pork meals that were reserved for the nobles who could afford it, whereas the peasants, the people that, you know, we probably would be emulating if we chuck ourselves back in 400 years ago, they would be eating squirrels and rabbits and anything that they could hunt in that regard, which were usually very small. And that's why we had rabbit stews and the like. And so, yes, we ate meat, but we didn't eat the lavish lamb chops and pig and cow that we have the access to today. And some people, I'm and in a way where I'm like, I don't actually argue this or argue against it. Some people would say that that is a beautiful thing, that now we have this middle class or even lower class that have access to these things. Yeah, true. It is cool. But I do think that it is more about the excessive eating and excessive meat consumption. And especially when we see things like obesity being rampant in many, many, many countries. That's also because of sugar, don't get me wrong. But I do feel like it comes with issues. Shit nutrition. Yeah, exactly. It's great to have access to these things, but conscious eating and is really, really important. Humans have had people who killed the meat and people who didn't, and they all ate it. Yes, that's actually a good point, see, Mama. You know what? Hunters and gatherers. I feel like although I very much agree, and I think that is an awesome point to make and one that I had never thought about, I think that the reason why people had hunters and that there were people who did not hunt was because the people who did not hunt weren't necessarily the athletes that the hunters were. And that is just my perhaps lack of knowledge of anthropology, and that's where we'd have to go down that rabbit hole, which is very fascinating. Did you live on TikTok? No, I've never been live on TikTok. Good night, Ascentria. Don't kill a cow, carve off what you want and ride the rest of it. Oh, actually, see, Mama, no, I know how I will argue my own point against yours, although I think you have a really, really good point and one that I'm not disagreeing with. It's more just adding to the discussion. I think for me, yes, there are people who would be the hunters and go and get the meat and bring it back to the tribe, but I still feel like the gatherers should have been comfortable with the idea of skinning a bird, and I think you can see that in some of the older civilizations as well, where we're not talking about cavemans, but rather like 1800s, where people would go get the deer and then they'll bring it back to the farm or whatever, and still the kids would have to skin it and prepare it. And so in that sense, they might not be the ones doing the actual killing, but they're still okay handling the product. And that, in that sense, I would be okay with the kids eating the meat as well, rather than needing to shoot the bullet themselves. Okay. Just scrolling. Fellow Kiwi, hi Soldier Bob. I'm not sure if you're still here, but yes, Kiwi. We have a few Kiwis in the community as well, and I am one of them. The vegan whisperer, she is not. No. We romanticize it in our heads, but it's nothing like in the movies or books we've read. Do you think? I may have missed what that one was for. Oh yeah, the World War II maybe. I don't know what that if that was there, but I am not on that topic. Cool. Yeah, calves are super fast, hey. I wonder how snails ever became a delicacy. I have a very simple way of looking at that, Izzy. I could be completely wrong, so grain of salt. But my understanding is that it wasn't a delicacy, it was peasant food. So my dad, he's from Germany, and he said that even in his childhood, they would sometimes have snails, not because it is a French delicacy, but because they were poor. And so I don't think that it is a delicacy. I think it is a poor man's food that then became popularized as something that was, and frog's legs in France, popularized as a delicacy because it's like, oh my gosh, did you know the French eat frog's legs? And so then it becomes a bit of a tourist thing, and then it gets prepared really fancily, and that's how it becomes a delicacy rather than it starting out as a delicacy, I think. But hopefully that gives a little bit of a theory crafting. I want... Oh, yeah, I don't know what this one is. Eat my shorts! Ay, caramba. Yeah. So I know a lot of people think of cats, dogs, and rabbits, whereas I would never eat these things. But unfortunately, some people did have to eat them, you know? I don't know the borrowers, sorry. So I don't have strong opinions on that zombie guy. Yeah, so get compared to Asmongold a lot. You're right, Toe. Bunnies are yummy but cute, but very, very yummy. I've never eaten a rabbit, but I could understand that the enough people have eaten them and still eat them that I could imagine that they'd be fine. You know, 85 kilos, says Jaren. I'm not saying catching a turkey would be easy, but I could handle it from there humanely. I think a lot, like similar to a fish, there are a lot of people who do fishing and they're comfortable sometimes they get the fish and then they have to whack it so that it dies, and then they can scale it. I think that is all fine. Like I couldn't do it myself, but I don't have it. I don't have anything against other people doing it. But overfishing and them all just kind of suffering in the net together, that's really, really depressing. But just a little fish, reel it on in, smack it up, and then have your fish. I think that's pretty, and that would be sustainable if you're catching your own fish as well, rather than, and maybe for your family rather than for the mass populations that we do now. I slept in the evening, like around 3 in the afternoon till 8. Now I'm not asleep at all. Yeah, that's not surprising whatsoever. Kermit is going to be helping a butcher a deer on camp, and they're vegetarian. I think that it's a really good experience for people even as vegetarians. But it will either, it might make them cement that they are vegetarian, but I still think that seeing that process can be beneficial. Hopefully they will do okay with it. It reminds me of dissecting the frog in science, you know. I made 2 hot dogs in the air fryer, melted butter in the microwave, dipped the buns in the butter, then air fried the buns. That sounds really, really good. Oh my gosh. Are you like a Michelin chef? That would, oh, Sarian. I would buy one of those, even as a vegetarian. Hi, Oscar. I'm celebrating not drinking Monster and a drink in 2 weeks. That's been my diet for a while. Oh, as in like you've cut out drinking energy drinks, or that you are going to continue to drink it. I am missing that. Hi Shaden, how you going? Sorry, I've just been catching up with chat. Delicacy is just a good PR for Scraps, exactly. Coming back to the original way that we ended up here is talking about Way. It's just PR. It's all marketing. It all comes back to the marketing. My goodness gracious me. Same thing with lobsters, really. It was a poor man's food back in the day, and now it's mad expensive. Yeah, I would have never thought that for lobster. Jeepers. Fish whacking stream when? I actually wouldn't be opposed to doing a fishing stream. Just because it's not something I've done in the past, but it's not something I've done in a long time. I wonder if I would enjoy it. So I would be open to doing a fishing stream, but I need a better IRL setup. Crocodile nuggets. I know people actually have eaten crocodile. You can eat crocodile in Australia. It's not super common, but it is possible. But yeah, why not make it into nuggets? Emus, I will admit, I have had an emu, and it was super, super delicious. However, where I got it from was a very fancy place. And so in that case, it like whatever they made was incredible. I ate sunflower roots, and they were some of the tastiest things that I've ever had in my entire life. Like, you wouldn't think about sunflower root being super delicious. So that is what my point is this particular restaurant just did such a phenomenal job that I could have been eating anything. If it was an emu, if it was like a pigeon. They were just so good at cooking, and so it was delicious, but everything they had was delicious. Crocodile is good. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember at the same places where we had crocodile, but it was kind of more like deep fried, so it didn't have a very obvious taste. Most small birds are pretty easy to end humaning with. Yeah, with a whip crack, exactly. We had a redhead in our village when my grandma was little. She said they killed him with rocks. Yeah, you must be in a pretty remote village, but They are, you know, kind of, what's it called? Abominations after all. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to read that one out loud. I didn't realize where that was going. I love rabbit meat, says C Mama. I've asked Kermit to bring me some rabbit meat next time they have to kill one. I'm not sure if they will, though. Yeah, if that's not something that they're into being a vegetarian. Although, because I'm assuming that their dad is a hunter. Is that correct, C Mama? Don't feel like you have to answer. Okay. I think I dissect fish as part of my hobby. Do you really? We had you know what? I won't get into that. But that doesn't surprise me. Sometimes they die. You know, you got to find out why. I still believe he passed away. Yeah, Chris Walker. I think. What is your favorite video game? My favorite video game, or the game that I think is the best video game? So I think that Portal is my favorite video game, and the game that I think is the best video game I've ever played, Portal 1 in particular. Tastes like chicken, does Crocodile. I feel like it would taste like watery chicken, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what other lizards... Oh, that's another one. Reptiles. People don't really talk about eating reptiles, you know. Next time in New Zealand, let's set up a fishing string. Ooh. Yeah, we could do one in New Zealand. I will be there at the end of the year. I have a look into it. Citrus fruit indeed. What do you think the greatest threat to someone who is 4 inches tall, like an action figure, maybe birds or cats or possibly large spiders? Yeah, I'd say cats more than anything because, not because they would get eaten by the cat, but because they'd be battered around first, you know? I've never eaten eel, no. But I could imagine that being all right. I feel like they'd have a lot of flesh to them, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Game pigeon is nice. They do have a lot of meat to them, you know. I do hear the general public are becoming wise to the fine dining of offcuts. Also buko, no, I don't even know that one. So good and so cheap, but it used to be. Sad. Hi, Victor. Tastes like chicken like everything else. Okay, there we go. I've heard croc and alligator are kind of fishy. Yeah, I felt like it's like a chicken, but also with a bit of, like, it's this blend between chicken and fish, where it doesn't taste like chicken because it does have that little fishy taste to it, but it's not there. Which emote is this, sorry? Can you, can I do the 6-7 emote? No, because I don't want you to take my likeness and use it elsewhere. But I at least said the word for you. How about that? I wouldn't mind trying reptile if only there was one I could eat without making something even... Yeah, more endangered, exactly. I feel like there would be a bunch of lizards that would be okay. Like a water dragon in Australia. They seem to be everywhere. What are they? Water dragon. Let me see what their status is. The Australian water dragon. Looking it up now. Unagi, that's true. I forgot that they have a lot of eel on sushi. Great point. Thanks, C Mama, for the clarification about the kid's dad. Because I feel like I've heard you talk about them doing hunting before. Okay, Florida iguanas that fall from trees. You could do that a little bit sustainably. So yes, okay. So this is in Australia. They're kind of cool. They're found in a lot of places. There's not a ton of meat to them. Maybe that's why they. I'm sure you wouldn't be allowed to eat them. Is the other thing. But they are of least concern, as in they are not endangered. Although I suppose if we start eating them, would probably turn them endangered. But yeah, there doesn't seem like there's a ton of meat on them. Maybe I have to look at a skeleton. But I feel like my point is there would be reptiles that you could potentially eat without endangering. Hi, JCA. I can see your messages, so you mustn't be timed out, if that helps. Alligator is pretty similar to chicken, very lean. Yeah, but chicken like fishy though, right? Portal is great. Yeah, I loved Portal. Hey, World of Warcraft. I don't play it because I know I'd get sucked into it. The worst thing for tiny people, spiders. They'll be like 30-foot buggers if you got shrunk. Yeah. But like 4 inches. I think that 4 inches you'd be bigger than most spiders. yeah, I think 4 inches, I feel like you'd still be okay against spiders, whereas cats, I don't think so. Nice to see you as well, John Boy. All the cheat cuts that need some techniques to get a result out of them eventually stop being cheat because the techniques aren't out of reach. Oh, okay. I hate eels, smoked or jellied. I just leave the eels alone. I don't think I've ever tried eel. I may have tried unagi, but I wouldn't remember what it tastes like. Maybe if I go to Japan, I can sneak a little unagi. Take a fluffy cat batting me around than a massive spider. But that's the thing is you'd be 4 inches tall. I think you'd be bigger than a spider. How large? So for example, your phone is meant to be like 6 inches nowadays, right? I think 4 inches you'd be big enough to fend off a spider. I really do. Oh yes, okay. Well, the arachnophobic element, I can't help you there. But you can at least run. I think you'd at least be able to run. I don't think you're outrunning a cat. You know what I mean? Hi, Kay. How are you doing today? I'm doing very well. I had a good sleep actually, and I'm just happy. I had a little bit of time off yesterday as well, just resting, watching some movies, and I just feel refreshed. Alligators overpopulated. Oh, in the US, is it really? Okay. What is a lizard that can run across water? Oh, I know the one you're talking about, but I don't know its name. Lizard run on water. I'll get the name for you. Eel is toxic unless cooked. Oh, wow. Today I learnt. That was a spaghetti tail. I have ridden a horse, yes, but it's a long time ago. New Zealand is nowhere near as deadly as Australia. Not at all. They have no land mammals, basically, except if you want to be technical, like a bat or a rat, but even then it's kind of like whatever. So they don't have anything that like a cat or anything that would bite you in that regard. Most things that are native to New Zealand are water based, and so what you would encounter are birds, flightless birds. The fact that they are flightless as well indicates that they didn't have really any predators on the island until house cats, and so the birds won't hurt you, and then the lizards don't get very large either. And so it is one of the safest places. There are 2 spiders that are venomous, but they're very obvious to spot. They have, it's a katsipo, which is basically like a redback or a black widow. So you know to stay away from them because they have their red marking on their black body. So that one's venomous. Don't go near that one. And a white tail. If it has a white tail, don't go near that one either. And so every other spider is fine. They will not hurt you. And so therefore, New Zealand, in terms of animals, incredibly safe. Very, 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 very safe. I'm 29. In answer to your question of how old I am, pleasure seeing you as well, John Boy. Thank you. Are cats faster than dogs? I can outrun my dog. I feel like it depends on the cat and it depends on the dog, right? It's just as simple as that. If you've tasted chicken, you have tasted eel. So everything tastes like chicken then. I guess chickens are just easier to breed and domesticate. So that's why we have a whole bunch of chickens instead of a whole bunch of eels. The phone screen, it's 6 inches but diagonal. And so that's why I'm thinking that it would just be a little bit shorter. I don't know how long this one would be. Maybe we can look that up. Fish fact of the day, Cory Doradinae or Cory catfish produce a toxin released from a gland behind the pectoral spine. Why would they need to release a toxin, Cory? Is, I guess, self-defense? They're 3 times as big when they started. That's true, multimedia. Okay, you look so energetic today. Thank you. I feel energetic. I feel like I've had a good rest. Okie dokie. Can you make me a bacon sandwich? I don't have any bacon in my house, so no. No. Penguins are dumb birds, but they're so cute, though. They're so cute. Yeah, exactly, Rich. We also don't like talking about politics and religion all the time, which is why we don't. Whitetails are
I'm
imported
doing
too,
my
yes.
part.
I believe that they're imported. That was my understanding. But the Katsipo is related to the redback, but it is native to New Zealand. Which is more deadly, rock, paper, or scissors? The world needs to know. Definitely rock. Definitely. I didn't think the US would have more things that could kill you than New Zealand. Yeah, for sure. New Zealand is a very, very, very safe in terms of its animals. Paper is definitely most deadly. No, it's the rock. The rock. It's not the poison from the whitetail that is dangerous. It's the bacteria you can get for their bites. I did not know that. Oh my gosh. Cheers, Sarian. I actually do want to look at this. This looks awesome. Or sounded awesome. Hi, Riker. Thank you so much for being here. Okie dokie. Hello. How you going? Defense against natural predators such as the wolffish. Oh, I've not heard of a wolffish. Sorry, I'm just reading mod chat. I didn't do a block on that word schmick. So that would be a question for 9Fox. Just FYI. Where the hell is this hot dog? Ooh, and Hugh posted crispy tofu. Okay, my thing's not
I'm
loading.
doing my
Wow, that looks really freaking good. I'll show you guys. That actually does look bloody good. It looks greasy and tasty. I did used to love a hot dog, I'll tell you what. I have yet to get a good vegetarian alternative to a hot dog. Yes, they have vegetarian dogs, but the thing is, I have had so many tasty vegetarian burgers, like the patties. I remember this one that's a stuffed mushroom with cheese in it, and it just melts in your mouth, and it's so disgusting. I love it. So I've had plenty of tasty vegetarian burgers, but I am yet to have a good vegetarian hot dog. And I used to love hot dogs. I would just cook them up for myself when I was a teenager and whatnot. And I'd add some cheese, add some onions. I loved hot dogs. So good. So good. Okay, so the lizard that walks on water, by the way, is called the common basilisk, apparently. A basilisk. That's fun. They're so dopey. Turtle or a snail, which is faster. So if you're putting them from point A to point B, then the turtle, what type of turtle? Are they on land? Is it a sea turtle? Like it was the flippers, but the turtle will win. And you can see that even from baby turtles when they are trying to find the ocean after they've hatched in the sand. The turtles will win if you're saying from point A to point B. If you're talking about relative size, so for example, how fast can an animal move in comparison to the size of its own body? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you there. I prefer my sausages in a full English. No, I love hot dogs. I think they're so tasty. We have a plant that grows near the water called cottontail. Yes, I've seen the nature glizzy. Don't bite it. And then it just keeps on spewing. Hi, Asa and hi, Power. How you going? New Zealand is the UK, but upside down. We have no deadly animals here. No, Hugh, I disagree. Because even just something like a mustelid, these are way more dangerous than anything you'd find in New Zealand. Like any of the mammals would bite, and technically, even just a deer would be able to kick the shit out of you, as opposed to no deer in New Zealand. Well, no native animals. They're there now for the meat industry. And mustelids, exactly. Like, you don't want to encounter a badger. You have native badgers in the UK. Trust me, I've made this a little bit of my thing. I don't have necessarily the animaltisms, but I freaking love animals. I do, and I often try to find out some of the natives of a country because my country is so limited to birds and lizards, essentially. Our badgers are polite and just invite you to tea parties. That's quite sweet. Even otters as well. Even though otters are freaking cute, they will bite you, okay? You can't look at an otter, put your hand out, and then expect them to not bite you. What do you have in New Zealand that will do the same? I guess a bird. A bird would potentially bite you. But, they're more likely to fly away. Okay, maybe if I look at it through that lens, I can be more forgiving. What is your pet peeve? Mine is when people put a new roll of toilet paper facing the wrong way. I already know which way is the wrong way. So yes, I completely agree with this pet peeve. I know some people don't like the mouth eating, like chewing with their mouth open and chewing noises. That's not really me. I don't know. I have to think about it. I'm sure I have plenty of pet peeves. There are a lot of things that annoy me. Slow walkers. I feel like that stands out to me immediately. Because like I said, it's always hard to think of something on the spot. But if I have to think of something on the spot, slow walkers and being stuck behind one, it's like, just be aware of your surroundings. Let me pass. And people who take up an entire footpath with their friends and you can't get around them. Oh gosh, that irritates me. Like, stop dawdling. Be aware of your surroundings, damn it! That's probably what I'd choose off the top of my head. Hi, hello, hi people. You're a slow walker? Well, you're my pet peeve in that case. Dante, good to see you. Let's see what else I can catch up with. Too bad you don't have any of those 50s mincing machines. Could put a few patties in to make a couple of snags. Yeah, that would, yeah, because then that'd actually have the flavor profile of the patties. Hey, maybe I'll have to make my own, yeah, I'll have to make my own snags. Rit, I just want to put it out there. I know that you said it's really nice to not talk about politics and religion, but you yourself are bringing those topics up. When we have not been, we've been talking about food for about an hour and a half. And so just keep in mind that when you're talking about these things, like, you're the one who's bringing it up. So this is just a request to, like, please talk about the same, like, be on topic. Okay. Do you have a formal education in animals or insects? I bloody well wish. No, we're just talking about animals because a lot of people can talk about them and it's a lot of fun. So I don't have a formal education in anything. I'm just a random person. I was going to say on the internet, but this is what I do in IRL as well, who likes to talk about a whole bunch of random topics. Welcome. Humans are the deadliest animal and they spread everywhere. You can barely find a part of this planet without a human there for sure. Okay. Yeah, see, even you talking about martial arts and gymnastics, we're not talking about these things. So please try and stay on topic. Because it makes it easier for me to stay on topic as well. Can I make friends with a kangaroo in New Zealand? No. Australia, yes, but not in New Zealand. UK badgers are dumb compared to American badgers. I would have no idea. I got nothing for you in that regard. Okay, the kakapo will bite and claw you, albeit lovingly. Yes, the Stephen Fry doco. Wasn't that hilarious? The poor cameraman. My goodness. So sad. So sad. Are you AI? That is up to you to decide, Fontaine. Hi, Weasel. Good to see you again. I'm so glad you walk at a decent speed when we ran around Stockport. Yes, it does bother me when people are slow. Chewing a tuna fish sandwich loudly is really annoying, but specifically a tuna fish. Is that because of the smell or just because you hate tuna fish sandwiches? Our opinions and tastes are hard on ourselves. I feel we must be surrounding aware for sure. For sure. Honey Badger, yeah. Honey Badger don't give a shit. That's a classic as well. Walk like your country's driving rules. I like this. Yeah, so, stay on the left and then, for New Zealand and UK. And then you overtake on the right. What's your spirit animal? Ooh. What is my spirit animal? I think there's a difference between the animal that I would be assigned and the animal that I love. So my favorite animal is a red panda, but I don't know if I would necessarily... I cry when I see red pandas in person. I just love them so much. They're so adorable. Do I feel like I am a red panda? I do have the coloring, but I don't feel like I am a red panda. Whereas I think that I get more comparisons to like a deer, like but I don't know. You guys tell me. Slow walkers are the worst when they look back at you like you're following them. So you want me to search river mud eels? Okay, you've said this a lot, so I will indulge. River mud eels. I don't think any of us were necessarily talking about the sea ones either. I'm not gonna lie. You know how people have that thing with holes, that phobia against holes? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we do have ticks and bugs and all that kind of stuff in New Zealand as well, Dante. I don't know about native ones, but they are definitely there now. Red pandas are amazing. I freaking love them. They're so adorable. I like it. Your spirit animal would be Vulpix. That's kind of cute. Ooh, red fox. See, I feel like I would be more like a red fox. For, you know, this like slender, got the hair color. Could be seen as nasty but cunning, but also cute. Yeah, I feel like fox works. Kudu. I just like that answer. So, trypophobia. Yeah. So, for those who don't know this one, so basically, trypophobia. Trypophobia. Yeah, there we go. Trypophobia. So it is the like small holes and bumps, and people just get super triggered by that look. And so you can see it in. Let me see if there's something less triggering, because even I'm getting triggered by some of these. Like a honeycomb, I guess. That feels like the least triggering thing that I will show live on stream, just because a strawberry is a good example. So some people are really discomforted by the look of these like several tiny holes or bumps, and so I think a strawberry is a good example because everyone knows what a strawberry is. I will show a strawberry. So if you have trypophobia, this is your 3, 2, 1 warning. And so a lot of people get triggered by this kind of look, and that can be on pimples or other people's skin, or it could be a honeycomb, for example, just that, or diseases. It can be just really, really horrific for a lot of people. Whereas a lot of us probably can look at the strawberry and be fine. So, why do I bring this up? I have a similar trigger. It's not a phobia, but when I see like creatures that are like snakes or eels or worms, and particularly like slithery things, I do get a trigger. And so I actually can't really, like, I can see these eels, but I have to get rid of them off my screen because it does make me feel ill. It's an ick, yeah. It's just an ick. And so I don't like looking at the eels. So we have officially and finally looked up the eels as requested, but that's as far as I could go because I just hate those images. And I think it's normal, right? It's supposed to be an ick. Like if you think of any movie that has a whole bunch of writhing snakes, that is uncomfortable, and it should be uncomfortable. You're looking at danger noodles. But I think in particular, it's not so much a snake, but like a glossy, wet looking slither kind of creature. So eels I find more icky than snakes because because of that sliminess. There's something about that sliminess, or like a leech. I feel like they're another one that really gives me the ick as I look at, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And so I think there's something about the idea of it like crawling under my skin that is triggering. Like an eel couldn't do that, but when I look at these slimy eels, I feel like they're like crawling into my orifices, and I hate that. I just, ugh, it makes me feel gross. Anyhow. So I don't think that I will love them is my point, because I think it's triggering. But we did look up the mud eels. I did try. And so hopefully you will appreciate, Joy, that we at least looked it up. I am indeed, Travis. I am. Yeah, no more of that. Thank you. What about a sea cucumber? I think they're just funny because of them being rubbed and then excreting. I wouldn't want to hold one, I can tell you that much. Yeah, they're kind of gross. I mean, that one just looks like a turd, so I don't really want to hold a turd either. Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan of the sea cucumbers either. But it is, but they're a little bit different because they don't have that like slimy, writhing look that an eel does, you know? Yeah. But yes, there are wallabies that were introduced in New Zealand. They're trying to get rid of them because it is very bad for like anything that's introduced is bad for the environment and ecology. So yes, wallabies are adorable, but they can be adorable in their native habitat. There was absolutely no reason for wallabies to be introduced to New Zealand. That and so they are trying to get rid of them. If you see one, you're meant to call our service to get rid of them and document them. So just because they're adorable doesn't mean they should be living where they are not allowed. So foxes, I think foxes are really, really cute. Do I want them living in New Zealand? No, of course not, because they will absolutely decimate the environment. And so wallabies will be taking away the natural food resources from other animals, and so they should not be there. The same way cats shouldn't be there as well. It's, yeah. They can be cute, but they can be cute in Australia, where they belong. Put a drawing in the Discord. Ah, cute. I will have to check that out afterwards. Thank you, Cody Cameron. Yes, Weasel. Are you still here? Sorry, Weasel. Just say hi in chat if you're still here, and then I will show you some things. I'll make an ichthyologist out of everyone. I love that. I had a cactus in my backyard, said Oscar, and we would boil and make it into salad. Very nice. I know a lot of people eat cacti. But yeah, common in the American Southwest. Exactly. Okay. Ooh, scarab beetles. Scarab beetles are pretty cool as well. The topic is about animals. We're talking about animals. So it's all coming back to animals. I knew an old woman who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I guess she'll die. How are your hairs orange but your eyebrows are, well, they're brown, first of all. I don't know, succulent. That's just how I was made. That's just like, I know a lot of people want to try and claim that I have dyed eyebrows or hair, but like that's just my body. That happens sometimes. It's actually very common for people to have a different eyebrow color to their hair color. So just because I'm redhead doesn't mean that that's not exclusive. If I feel like someone's close behind me, this is for slow walking, like a granny. Oh, for driving as well, like a granny driver, for them to take over. Just don't like have anyone behind my back. Ah, okay. I can kind of understand it. There are these weird seed pod things that I've seen at a florist, and they look... Ugh. Yeah, so they had seed pods. I think that they were lotus pods from the looks of this. Ah, Pigsaurus doesn't like honeycomb either. I don't know the wild robot. Sorry, Jin. Yes, Rich. I have a horizontal and vertical YouTube stream. Turns out tripe and trypophobia are not etymologically related. I'm not surprised. Lotus seed pods are big ooh. Yeah, that's the one that came up all the time when I looked up trypophobia. So that's why I thought strawberries would be a good in-between for people. An embarrassment of pandas. That's so cute. Ay. Adorable. Welcome back, Ethan. Yeah, go do your thing. You go get some rest. Thank you for letting us know. The danger poison hypothesis. Studies suggest that trypophobia patterns visually resemble those found on venomous or poisonous animals such as snakes, insects, and frogs, and the brain may use these visual cues as an ancient warning system to trigger avoidance. Yeah, I think it makes sense. A lot of these things do make sense. And it is similar to how I feel an ick when thinking about these writhing, slimy things. It's like a parasite, right? I think that the trigger is coming from, this is what parasites look like. Stay away. Some people don't like popping their own pimples because they don't even like the idea of pimples on them, you know? The pathogen disease avoidance hypothesis, researchers in evolutionary psychology, such as a team at Vrije Universitet, link the aversion to our behavioral immune system. Clustered holes or bumps closely resemble the physical manifestations of parasites, infections, and diseases on skin. There we go. And so I completely understand people not liking trypophobia, because I think it is psychological. It is meant to be something that grosses you out because it is dangerous, you know? The ick, yeah, the ick. Yes, people still say I'm AI Vecna, but nonetheless. Yes, we've got a few extra little Pokemon now. It's cute. There are deer in Australia. Are there deer in Australia? Aussies, you'll have to answer that one. I don't think they have deer in Australia. Oh, no, they do have hunting, so they must have some deer that were introduced. They're not native deer to Australia, I can tell you that. Travis, I'm a New Zealander. If a bear fell on someone, it's an instant death, game over. True. Very true. Okay. My triggers get confused. I just get hungry and I want pasta when I see noodle-looking stuff. Hey, well, maybe that shows you're a hunter rather than a gatherer. Who do you rate more for Australia, Tim Payne or Matthew Wade? I do not know either of these names, so neither. Neither. Yeah, I don't know Wild Robot. That one's I don't know this one at all. Ew, parasites. Yeah, don't get a Paris. Do I sound American? Because if I do, then oops. You love snakes? I know a lot of people are big fans, but that's the thing is I don't mind a snake, but something about an eel and like anything that looks slimy, they give me more ick than a snake does. Thank you, Vin. Thank you. They also don't thrive here like other countries. They have too much competition for food. As in the deers. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. And how do they manage with the hot weather schmick? Surely that would be something that they'd have issues with. Oh, I see. So they're cricket players. Is that correct? Fake red hair. Well done, Yuppity. Like, well done. You've called out my hair color. Yay. Yahoo. Well, good for you. You must feel very proud of yourself. You must feel very, very proud. What did you study? I didn't go to university. I did public and then, I did primary school and then I did high school and then I decided that I wasn't ready to go to university. So I thought I would take a year off before going to university, and then I took 10 years off. So I do want to go study something, and I've said that for 10 years. But it's just taking me this long to try and figure out what it is. And now I am in a whole new country. So the idea is that I need to settle in, get a proper visa, and then I can look at if I want to study as well. Very localized environments they try to survive in and not successfully. That surprised me not. I am from New Zealand is where I am from. So none of these cities. But look at you knowing all of the capitals of a lot of places. The place where I lived, though, was Melbourne. So the one that you accidentally left off there. Hi, Cody. Do you think Brendan McCallum is the best Black Caps cricket player? Do you think that I look like someone that likes cricket? I cannot tell you a single cricket player's name. Let's put it that way. I do not know any cricket players. Yeah, go get a beer. Get me one while you're at it, please. Komodo dragons are pretty nightmare fuel with their salivating bacteria mouths. I mean, they're pretty badass, though. Hi, Joel. I'm well. I do think Komodo dragons are pretty sick, though. Move to Scotland for free uni. Do they have free uni? The thing is, I'm getting my German passport, so I was actually thinking that maybe I will look into studying elsewhere. But, we have time. We got time. There are public schools in New Zealand where you just basically have to buy a uniform, and some of them don't have uniforms either. So I don't believe that that schools are always free, but tuition doesn't always have a cost. So to me, schools are not free because you often have to buy supplies for schools, right? However, in New Zealand, there are what are called public schools, and I think it's the same in most countries where you go to school and you can learn for free, I suppose, but you also need all of your tools. But it has private schools too, and university is not free. I feel like, where was this one? I feel like 21 was yesterday. Aww. I did primary, then high school, then uni, and all the drugs there. 3 of the drugs there, and the main one was aspirin. I know it's for other people, it's like what's like Adderall and stuff. I do not do stand-up comedy. Just because I have a brick wall does not mean I do stand-up comedy. No, I am not funny enough to do stand-up comedy. In the environments they can survive in, they're hunted as pets. Gotcha, Schmick. That makes all of the sense. Thanks, Jay. Much appreciated. Normal people? No, Yumfity. The thing is that everyone calls it Melbourne. Like, the people who call it incorrectly are usually Americans. Melbourne. No one says Melbourne. Everyone says Melbourne. It doesn't matter if you're a New Zealander. You can be an Australian and call it Melbourne too. Hi, Harry. I am doing well. I am a little bit dehydrated, but I think we will start moving on to some games very shortly, which is very exciting. We're going to be playing Oblivion, which will be fun. Look like someone who'd enjoy an afternoon tea with cucumber sandwiches. With frequently does occur in the vague vicinity of cricket, but that's true. I do like tea. I do like cucumber sandwiches. But I wouldn't be watching the cricket. It would be like one of those things where it could be on, but I will not be watching it. I know a little bit of German. Nur ein bisschen. Is this AI? You decide. What is the background? You tell me. You have eyes. You can look at the background and you can decide for yourself what the background is. We should marry and go diving. Done. Where are we going diving? What country? Where would you like to do this? Would you like to do this near Australia? Would you like to do this in the Pacific? Would you like to do this in the Indian Ocean? No, I don't know this one, Ramandeep. For an American who has never been to New Zealand, what will shock me the most? Ooh, American to New Zealand. Maybe the sheep? I'll have to think about that one. I want to go to Germany for the uni. You know, what do you think? I mean, if you can, why not? A lot of people speak English, so you'd be okay. They have great universities over there. If I have the opportunity, it sounds like a great one, you know? Pet bird or pet lizard? Bird. I like birds. What's school like in New Zealand? How long and what grades are there? Okay, there are a lot of questions that are very like different from one another. They're all about New Zealand. So let me pause all of these questions and decide what I want to cover. Thank you, Killed with Kindness. Much appreciated. Yeah, go get some rest. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out for as long as you have. Much appreciated. I do a little comedy. Yeah, you can tell a joke, Rob, as long as it's not me. In the UK, public schools have to be paid for. They are just a less exclusive version of private schools. The free schools that most people go to are called state schools. Ah, there we go. Thank you very much for teaching me. I do not play Counter-Strike, no. No. There are no snakes in New Zealand, not native ones at least. Some of them sneak across the oceans, but they shouldn't be there. Isn't your governor an emu? So the Australians lost the emu war, but can you really say that they lost the war when the emus are not in parliament? Consider that one. Consider that. A duck got arrested today. They caught him selling quack. That is a good one. I do like this. I do like this. Okay. How many marriage proposals that today? I think only 3 or 4. Yeah, we should do a count, right? Are you from Auckland? No, I'm from Hamilton. See sheep all the time in Idaho. Yeah, I don't know what would shock an American going to New Zealand. You know what I mean? It's so hard because it's all so normal to me. How do I know what's not normal to an American? I think that's where the trouble with the question is. I don't know what is so different. I don't think that it would be super, super much of a culture shock. And even the shocks won't be like that kind of shock. Oh, cheers, Rob. Yeah, I'm not sure. Emus don't need to be in Parliament. They pull the strings from behind the curtain. Ah, they're lobbyists, are they? Oh my goodness. No snakes in New Zealand, and then I'm in the UK and I'm like, oh my gosh! Yes, I'm on Twitch as well, Nico. You got it. I am literally near the beach right now eating, and it's so peaceful. Lovely. Even so late at night. Or you mean in your place? Yeah, Hamilton is nice. The drinking age, that's a good one, but that's not exclusive to New Zealand, you know. Yeah, I don't have a frame of reference for their experience. That's a good way of putting it, Upset, for sure. The free healthcare, well, free healthcare in quotation marks, you know. So in New Zealand, the official languages of the country are Maori and New Zealand Sign Language, and then they have English as a de facto language. You can whip up a proposal count in no time now. We'll leave that to do. Today, I don't want to promote counting proposals. That is correct. I am from the land where Russell Crowe is from. Fair enough, Dirty Dan. Hey, welcome home, I guess. And look, my cat is already curled up. I'm sure she's happy to see you. Jandals, yeah, maybe that's what it is. It will be about lingo. Boba, I think you're actually finding the... Thanks, Nico. We'll see you next time. I think you're finding more of a realistic answer. It's not so much the place that is a shock. It'll be the lingo where they're going, sorry, what did you say? Yeah, I think it will be about lingo. I like it. What's your education? High school. I did not go to university, but I'd like to. Would you rather swim a mile in shark-infested water or spend a week in the woods, but there is a hungry bear? Probably a mile in shark-infested waters. I feel like that is... What is a mile? 1.6 kilometers. Just because you're in shark-infested waters doesn't mean that they're going to eat you, you know? I didn't know that much about New Zealand, except that I have something of an obsession with Napier. Not many people know about the Art Deco. Yeah, they call it Art Deco capital of New Zealand. That's so cool. What the heck? Of all things. Hell yeah. How fun. How fun indeed. Okay. Yeah, exactly, sorry. And the thousands of dollars just for an ambulance. Disgusting. I don't know what you mean by that, Rit. Yasha, I already answered your question, but no, I don't know about this tensor calculus. I know what calculus is, but I don't know what tensor specifically is. Te reo, thank you, Corey. That's actually a good point. Yeah, so te reo Maori rather than Maori. That's a good way of looking at it. I've seen too many videos of Yanks in New Zealand. Apparently, if you know what the things they're confused about are. Things closing down. Yeah, early. That's a good point as well. Where are you from? New Zealand. What are your hobbies? Dungeons and Dragons and video games. What is a kilometer? Well, I thought the same thing with a mile, where I'm like, ay. I guess when you're in New Zealand, this is not exclusive to New Zealand. You have to drive on the left side of the road, and also everything's in kilometers. But like I said, that's not exclusive to New Zealand. I'm more educated than you. Congratulations. There's nothing, like, that's the thing, is a lot of people put a lot of value in university. Just because I haven't gone to university doesn't mean that I will never go to university. And how much value do we put in education? I'm doing pretty well for myself, considering the fact that I haven't gone to university. I think that I display a lot more curiosity than a lot of people do who even do go to university. So it's all about... just showcasing who you are. I find that it gets a little bit weird when people compare education, I suppose. But that's the thing, is it would be very different if I were trying to teach people about various topics and claiming that I am an expert in it when I am not. So that's why I look at how I do things more as learning alongside you guys, being resourceful and rabbit holing rather than trying to teach. And so, for example, if I had a university degree in law, that doesn't now mean that I have more expertise on animals or anything. It's just I find that it doesn't help anyone to compare education, I suppose, because the personality speaks for itself. Thank you, Yasho. I really appreciate that. I do have a Discord. Yes, we do indeed have a Discord. To play video games, enjoy Enloch. Glad you have some time to do so. Would you rather be in the forest with a man or with a hungry bear? A man. I know a lot of people talk about the bear, and I completely understand the whole argument that came from that. But ultimately, I've never encountered a bear. So I'm a little bit scared of the bears. Freedom measurements indeed. I'm in New Zealand. Hell yeah. Well, you'll be in good company. We got a whole bunch of New Zealanders. Finn Allen? No, I don't know who this name is. Sorry. Oh. Dude. Everyone's path is different. Exactly. Oh, and that's a good example as well. Your mom is smarter than your dad, even though your mom didn't finish high school. And so I think that when we're told what our paths are of go to primary school, go to high school, go to university, it can be very discounting of people who choose to do trade school, for example. Just because someone went into trade school doesn't mean that they are less intelligent as someone who went to university, right? And so I just find that they have, and also people in trades are highly knowledgeable in the trade that they have, and so their education is just different. And so I think that when people say they're more educated, it just doesn't really mean anything to me. It's like, okay, well, you went to a university for a few years. Yeah. Like, okay. Like, what does that imply? All it implies is that you chose to go to university and I chose not to, you know? It's like, I'm more educated than my US university got me. Now I know there are no emus in Parliament. Today I learned. It's a good thing to learn. Being more educated means I have a higher chance to get a job and have a stable family. I know you're very young, Rich, and I know that this is a lot of things that people have told. So, and there is nothing wrong with you going to university. I would like to make that so very and abundantly clear. There is nothing wrong with you choosing to go to university. That is something that you wanted to do, and I think that is incredibly admirable. But if you think that that is now going to give you a higher chance to get a job and a stable family, look no further than the statistics that prove otherwise. The amount of people who are going into universities and getting degrees and now are tens of thousands of dollars in debt and still struggling to get entry-level jobs. And there are even people who decided to not go to university. They get these entry-level jobs. They now have years of job experience where the people who went to university did not, and that can help them with a leg up. Of course, there are things that are different. So it depends on the type of job you're wanting. Some types of jobs will want a certain level of education to be able to get them. So that will hopefully, get you a higher paying job than a job altogether. Stable family as well. There are so many things that education and stable family, like those, I can't see. I have never heard anyone talk about the correlation between those two things, so I could be ignorant on that fact, but to me, education and university or college does not stable family make. The high rates of divorce show that in spades, and that is not exclusive to people who went to tertiary education whatsoever. And then these stable families, we have such an issue with stable families. It's so rare to have what is quote unquote a stable family. So I don't know where that correlation of university or tertiary education was the good one to use. Tertiary education and stable family. Like, where does that come from? Other than stable family, to me, can only be created based on relationship building and understanding and working on yourself and how you interact with the people around you. And that has nothing to do with tertiary education. Yeah, thank you, C Mama. A stable family can make it easier to get educated. This I can agree with. And I say that from my own experience. I have a very, very loving mum and dad. And I had every opportunity to go to university. I did well enough in high school, and also the universities that we have in New Zealand allow for people to enter. And so I passed high school. I can go to university. And even as a 30-year-old, I can still go to university. There's nothing saying that you have to go at the young age of 18. So because of the stable family I had, it allowed me for a good primary school education, a great high school education, and the opportunity to choose university. My stable family had, the reason I didn't go to university is because I had a stable family, because I was able to have the choice to go rather than feel like I should go. And so I think that is if you have been told that tertiary education leads to the higher likelihood of stable family, I would push that thought and query yourself of why you feel that way. Okay. I was looking at a uni degree. Where was this one? From Andre. No, not from Andres. From Griffin. Being a computer technician by trade. But there are so many options available and nothing specific in hardware, so I won't be getting one. And that's the thing, is there are plenty of people who go into these other fields that have incredible jobs and high-paying ones at that, which is what people actually care about. It's not about having the job. It's about having a high-paying job. And I think that you've looked into it, you realize that it's not for you, and that is going to be a big time sink and not one that is worth that time. And you can change your mind on that too. Mechanic and a plumber would probably rake in more than a teacher, for example, who went to college. And you see that. And especially for people who go into trades, I can say this from anecdotal experience. So keep that in mind. I haven't looked into the statistics, but anecdotal experience, I see a lot of people who go into the trades fields. So like you say, mechanics, plumbing, and they often go at a younger age. So because school's not really for them, they decide to go and start as an apprentice, as a 16, 17, 18-year-old. And then they're already working for several years while others are going to university. And then sometimes they start their own business and they become incredibly wealthy because they have their own business, where the people who went to university are still paying off their degree if they have a job at all. And so I think another thing that people forget is that the degrees that they get, they are competing against every single other person that got that same high level of education. And that is what is so crazy to me, is that if we are putting so much of a value on such high level education, it should be free. It should absolutely be free, because otherwise we have these highly qualified or highly educated individuals who are not able to get jobs. And so now they are just in a life debt because they are trying to pay off a degree that didn't get them a job, because they had all of these hundreds of thousands of people that also did the exact same thing. So it does not guarantee a job, or at least the type of jobs that people think that they will get is just because they get a degree. I think it's helpful when you're in sports lifting with others, making you progress faster, and having coaches, same with schools and professors. That's fair enough, Andres. Going to school does teach you a lot, but it's not the end all be all. Exactly. Uni can be a lot about connections as well. I think networking is a great thing about university. I think that's a really good point. And experience, you could say that about anything, right? A lot of people can go to university and have a wonderful experience. Maybe that's with other people. Maybe that's with the learning. Maybe that's with like whatever it is. But you could say that travel is about connections and experiences, or self-reflection. So I think that that's just like yes, there are positives to going to university. I still want to go to university. Like I don't want it to sound like I am saying people shouldn't go to university. I just think that people should have the opportunity to choose, and I chose not to go, but that's because I still want to go as well when I'm ready, rather than because I'm told that this is the pathway because that will help me get a job. I've had plenty of jobs without going to university. And also consider, like, so many people want to be rich. And if you accept that you might not be like that, then there are so many jobs out there that you'll be just comfortable on. And that can be an important thing as well. I want to study mathematics and philosophy. I don't care about jobs. And that's the thing, is that's why I want to go to university as well. I feel like I display constant curiosity. Like when people come into my live streams, even for the first time, and especially people who have been here for a long time, you guys can see how excited I get about learning new things. I love learning, and I would love the opportunity to learn from experts in the fields that I am particularly interested in. I would like to have more knowledge in that. But not because I want a degree to get me a job after that. Like if I'm going to university, it's because I want to find out more of a field of the field of choice that I go into, and I want to know more about that rather than because of it, because I feel like it will guarantee me a job. Life isn't a formula to be completed to achieve success. Once you determine what you consider to be your priorities, then you can take action to attempt these things as well. Yes, because you don't want to feel like you are having these checklist items to show your self-worth. I think that's kind of what I want to imply, basically. I know that many millions are tradies. Yeah, and many people who have degrees working in chain stores. Exactly. It's just how it is. Yeah, we're not talking about religion at the moment. Get the first job because I had listed on my CV that I founded and led the Sesame Street Appreciation Society. I'm like, that's so cute. And that's the thing. That's about personality at that point where it's like, oh my God, that's cool. Tell us about that. I didn't take a student loan because I had enough money. Well, that's a different story. That shows that you come from a background that is able to afford this, but you have to realize that not everyone is in that regard. And if you already have money, then that shows that it won't necessarily be the university that will help you with getting more money. That's called generational wealth, and that's okay. I also come from generational wealth. I shall want for nothing. I come from a very privileged background, and I am aware of that. And I think, like I said, I think that people, if we're putting so much value on tertiary education, it should be free, for sure. Hi, Nate. Jumping into an apprenticeship and being paid while you learn a skill is how university would work if students were guaranteed good investment. That's, ooh, thinking about the students being the investment. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's the impression I got, Geronius. I feel like I did read your message correctly. I've never thought about a student being an investment, and that's why free education is not provided, because they don't want to put as in the government not putting investment into the students when they're not a good Interesting. See, this has opened my mind. I've not had anyone in my circle who has argued this, and that is I'm going to mull that one over. Oh, I'm excited. I like that. Fascinating. Yes. Yes. Wow. Damn. I like that, Geronius. Thank you. If my liberal arts degree would guarantee a solid job, they wouldn't pay me to be taught. That's the cool thing about trades as well, yeah. Oh. I'm going to remember that one. Thank you. Look at all these guys from Eton, etc., that have degrees but no empathy. This is also true. The sad thing is that the system is fast track for them to go straight into politics without real life understanding. Yeah, and then they're making all of these rules for the upbringing that they had rather than the understanding of the people that actually on hard times, you know. I'd rather donate orphanage kids than money to the priests in the name. Oh yeah, this is religion. We're not talking about religion. Which is best, Harvard or Oxford? I don't know. If you're an international student and trying to choose either, like the fact that you could get into either is already impressive and says more about you than the university you're going to. Should be surprised. Eep. Shouldn't be surprised that there are so many people who are unaware that the jobs you need a degree for are actually in the minority. Yes, exactly right. Hi, Joe. If there wasn't any benefit, then rich people wouldn't send their kids. But it's not the only way. Yes, and that's the thing is, Rob, that's why I said I don't want people to think that I don't think people should go to university. But I don't want people to be under the impression that university is the be-all, end-all, as was said earlier as well. It should be about your choice, not about because you think that is what is going to guarantee you a job and a wife, essentially. I wish I took up a trade when I was younger. I wanted to be a carpenter, but fell into bad things of the world. I'm sorry to hear that, Dirty Dan. I come from a middle class family, but I had financial knowledge. And that's awesome. That's great. And that will be useful going forward as well. The truth is, if you get past the first 2 years of engineering, you'll get job offers left and right. I literally had to tell people I'm not done with school, still trying to finish. That's actually really awesome. But so Andres, that was your experience, and that could show that you were doing very well in school. Would you say that the others in your class were experiencing the same thing? Or is that something where, yeah, because I know that you made sure to put the caveat that that was your experience. But do you know if other people in your same class, Andres, were having the same offers? Or was that just you being a smarty potty and desirable? Because you're allowed to pat yourself on the back with that. You're allowed to be seen as the person that they wanted. But it is just that reminder that not everyone who goes through, because if that's the case, then not everyone who goes through engineering would have the same experience, is my point. Oh, thank you, Izzy. That actually is really, really quite a compliment, because I think that even when it comes to these things, like look, I do have some insecurities that I didn't go to university. I think that I am a smart enough cookie that if my entire life I was told I should go to university, and people, especially when I was like 19 years old, I had this constant doubt that I had made the right or wrong choice, and so I do get a little bit of insecurity where I feel like I should have a degree. And so there has been a lot of acceptance of that, because I shouldn't have a degree. What would I have done with it? I would not have found the path that I am on now. And I love everything I've done. But there is still that feeling of needing to prove something. And that's why I guess empathize when I see that in other people, especially younger people, where I'm like, you don't have to prove anything. Like your own how you conduct yourself will speak for itself, is kind of how I look at it. But I, at the same time, still want to go to learn some stuff, not necessarily to get a degree. I don't think that's my goal, but I just want to learn more things. Sometimes when I hear stories about how people grew up poor, I'm like, that's your father's fault. He should have, saying he should have been smarter. Yeah, but maybe he wasn't smarter. And there's generational issues with that as well. I have a deep love for physics, mathematics, and philosophy, says Yashui. I don't know why, but from childhood, I want to study my whole life. And I know people like that as well. My mum is like that. And I think that's beautiful. But we can also acknowledge that that's not for everyone, you know? That's also true with the Germans. I just saw that, Boba. Success is mainly socially acceptance and rewarding, but success can be happiness, relaxation, understanding, freedom. And so I practice that in spades. Hello, Sly. Oh, sorry. I practice that in spades. I was so like mentally unwell when I was in high school and in my early 20s. And if I had gone to university, I don't mean this flippantly. If I had gone to university, I don't think I would be where I am today. Not because of I would have gotten a different path and different job, but because I don't think I would have wanted to be here. That is how I am going to phrase that. And that is a testimony to how deep and dark my thoughts and feelings were when I was like 10 years ago. Because it wasn't my path, and I fought against the path that a lot of people were told I should kind of follow, and I am so much happier and healthier than I have ever been in my entire adolescence and young adult life. I am so much better nowadays, and I'm just a content little lass, and in that regard, I relate so much to what Clover Crimson has said. Is to me, success is not the like. I would love to earn more money. Don't get me wrong. I would love to earn more money. You guys know how much I talk about travel. Travel requires money. More money would be excellent. So make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. So these things I definitely would love to have, like, everyone would love a little bit more money, don't get me wrong, but for me the success that I show and remind myself of is my freedom, my flexibility, the fact that I am my own boss and I can just move countries because I decided I wanted to. How many people can say that? I have privilege in terms of my passport privilege and being a New Zealander. And these are things that I consider success rather than because I got a degree and then a job in that field. But there are a lot of people who know exactly the type of things that they're interested in. So maybe that's dinosaurs. And so they go and study paleontology and they become paleontologists. And that path is just something that they can follow. When you are someone more like me, and I'm sure a lot of people in the community as well, who don't necessarily know what it is that they want straight out of school. And I think that is a very normal experience. There is so much to discover about yourself in your 20s that you're allowed to not know what you want to do and commit to when you're a teenager. And it is a lot of pressure to put on a teenager to commit. And again, if things were free, I think more people would get a degree. But now I have this idea of that not being a good investment. So that's awesome. Woohoo!
Here's $1 lady. Go to Vel the world.
And now I have more money! Yahoo! That will go into my coffee fund. It will get me a quarter of a coffee. Exactly! It's so ridiculous deciding your life path at 15. So much pressure. Okay, catching up now. What none of this is talking about is the emotion and empathy taught by the role models in our life can be much more than when you go to uni as well. I think that's a really good point, Boba. Sorry it took me so long to read that. Yashui says, I don't want to have a family. I just want to dedicate my life to physics, mathematics, and philosophy. And that's beautiful. And maybe alongside that dedication, you might find someone who shares that passion and you end up having a family. Or maybe you don't and you're okay with that too. I think that sounds like you've got a pretty healthy mindset in the moment, at the moment, Yashui. And you're allowed to change that mindset too. You don't know who you're going to be in 5 years. I don't think people should go to uni, but I also don't think we should have to make a resume for someone to look at for 30 seconds. But the system says you have to have these things. And yes, Brendan, I completely agree with this. I think it is so messed up. And I see this in the dating. Brendan, you're... Oh my freaking God, Sly! That is a lot more money than $1. Well, now I can buy 10 coffees. Oh, thank you so much. That is very kind. Well, yeah, that's just a $50 bomb out of nowhere. Very sweet. Thank you so much for the support. Holy crap. That... Okay, I'm trying to get back on track, but know that I am very, very grateful. I cannot express how grateful I am. That was so unnecessary. I'm very comfortable, don't get me wrong. I am very, very comfortable, but I am also incredibly appreciative. Thank you. I'm going to Copenhagen next month for my 30th, so I feel like that will be a very nice little way to help me get a few nice meals when I'm there. So thank you, Sly. I'm glad you're enjoying the chat. Much appreciated. Okay. Whew. Okay, so in terms of what Brandon was saying, yes, I think that having the checklist of like, these are the things that you need to be able to have this job, I see that kind of toxicity bleed over into dating apps as well, where it's like, well, I don't want to date someone unless they hit all of these things, and then I will talk to them. Or in a job scenario, then I will interview them. Whereas if you find that you actually just get in a room with someone, it's more about if you get along anyway. And a lot of the time, that is what we'll see more of a success in dating, friendships, and then in this case, jobs. That can be its own tangent, but I'm already so far behind, so I will pin that there and you guys can decide if you want to talk more about it. I don't learn favorite subjects in uni, but studying skills efficient for future is necessary. Yeah, it's great to have some study skills. Like I said, I think you should go to university, but I don't think that you should go with the idea that it will guarantee you a job. That's all I'm trying to say. If we're really going to boil it down to it. What the heck? Another $1?
Quick, donate more and we can make her start to cry like Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness.
You will do it as well. I will indeed cry. So be careful with your power, okay? Be careful with your power. Dirty Dan, they're smart enough to not eat meat. I don't eat meat because I can't afford it. The truth has come out. It's just simply that I cannot afford it. How dare you call me out like this? I was hiding my secret under my morals and my fact that I just, I like being vegetarian. I love it. And then I look at the price of that tasty, juicy, succulent steak. I like being vegetarian, okay? Ian, thank you for the 100 biddies as well. I am very grateful. Oh my goodness. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Okay. I'll catch up. You do have to prove thoughts specifically in this society. Yeah, and I'm living in a very cushy environment and society that has made me able to prove my worth with my character rather than with my credentials. But it can be tough when you're in a sea of resumes for sure. But that's what I was also saying, is so many people, you're competing against a lot of people that have the same resumes. And so it's no guarantee. The kid's dad never completed a university degree, but he's wicked intelligent and gets every single job he applies for and is headhunted as well. Yeah, it's just not as simple as getting the checklist. Hey. Yasha says, these things are your love. I don't want to have a fun. Oh yeah, because I'm the time. Awesome!
Kofi sounds like a great idea.
I will make sure to have a tasty coffee, but in Copenhagen on your behalf. Thank you so very much, everyone. Brendan says, I'm an electrician, but go to uni part-time. I want to know more about economics. I go for a hobby, and I love that. That's kind of what I want to do as well. There are so many, another reason I haven't gone to university or a diploma is because I don't know what I want to study, and I don't want to sink so much money into something just for a hobby, although hobbies are very expensive. So I'm being cautious on what I choose to go in because, like I said, similarly, it would be nice to have not even as a fallback, like you're kind of implying with in case after you got bored of what you do. But I get curious. I want to know more of things, and I know that some of that limitation is yes, I can do my own research, but it's much easier when you can do that research under the guidance of a curriculum. You know what I mean? Nate says, I love competition. I lose a lot. I'm bad at most things, but I like improving at the things I focus on and winning in those respects. That is an incredibly healthy ethos. I very much respect it. And Travis, an answer to your question of what did I do instead of uni, if you're still here, I actually moved to Australia. And I studied acting for a little bit. And then I ended up live streaming. I've been live streaming for several years. Yeah, mental health is no joke. Take care of yourselves, exactly. Making money is a skill, but it is not a skill that is reserved for university students or college students. Tertiary education, I'm trying to bundle both of them. We call it university, America call it college. So that is, there are plenty of people who make money that have no diploma or degree whatsoever. But yes, I absolutely agree that money making is a skill. When my stream freezes, I get the whirly circle, but there isn't one. No, I think that we haven't had any drop frames, see, Mama, so it must be your end today. Okie dokie. AI is checking the resumes these days, you reckon? Hiring manager will look at the top recommended by the AI. Yeah, I think that probably is how it looks at now. And it's just so sad. So sad. I'm not going to disagree with you there, Toke. Richard Feynman once said he wasn't special. I'm not familiar with this name. He just worked hard. I want to work hard too. I love that. I don't think physics, maths, and philosophy are different. I think they and I are one. That's so cute. I love that. I know I am a part of them. It sounds like you're really finding your calling. So I wish you all the best for that. Well, I don't wish you the best because I know you already know what you want to do. 6 foot tall, 6 figures. Yeah, I'm looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes or whatever it is. I was voted most toxic in my workplace 3 years running. Well, look at you, still being employed. How impressive. Okay, skipping class to watch a nature documentary never made me $1, but I think it made me smarter. Did you also know that there are no emus in Parliament? How crazy is that? Even though the emus won the Emu War, but they're not in Parliament. What a correlation. Like, you just assume. But that's what we get when we assume. If you don't think fish are neat, we can't be friends. Fish are very cool. Resumes never really show who the person is. Yep. Someone just took the long way around to our degrees. And that's the thing is, I cannot tell you that I have a better system for hiring people. But I don't like the current one. Headhunters act like a YouTube algorithm suggestions and try to hire you as well. Okay, what do I want to be? Okay, if I'm going to be very honest with you guys, I would love, and I've said this before, I don't feel the necessity to be super wealthy. I do have pretty good financial skills. My dad taught me those from a very young age. I know that that is not something that everyone has, but I think that we can look, it's pretty obvious. I've been live streaming full time for a while, and I've managed to move countries through that. I've managed to pay my rent through that, and these show that I am very frugal and careful with my spending. I do spend to make sure that I'm still enjoying my life, but the reason I am where I am is because I have some financial literacy. So I don't need to be a millionaire to be content. I am well aware of this. I do not need to be a millionaire. However, I would love to make like 6 figures a year. So like $100,000 a year. That would be pretty sick as hell. If I do say so myself, that would be pretty badass. We're talking American dollars just for a base as well. I think that would be awesome. Do I think it is possible at my current trajectory? No. But, you know, you asked me what I want to be. And so these are things that I think about of like, what is my number that I would be content with? I am not someone who feels like I need to keep on building on that over and over and over again. We can celebrate that success the same way that I celebrate 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think that's pretty sick as hell, if I do say so myself. I think that's pretty cool. And now we're at like 1,100 subscribers. That is also very cool. I can celebrate these things. And I would love to be a full-time streamer. I am a full-time streamer, but I would love to be a full-time streamer who earns 6 figures. And then once I hit that, we can plateau. And maybe we hit the 100,000 subscriber count, get a silver YouTube play button instead of a paper one. I feel like that would be a nice level to be at. Have the Twitch stream at like 100 viewers average. Like, these are the kind of things that are in this middle ground, which is actually technically a part of the 1% anyway. But those would be my ideals. I'd love to average 100 viewers, 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and earn across the multiple platforms like $100,000 a year. And I could live off that so ridiculously comfortably. That would be my dream. Will I achieve that? I don't know, but I'm not going to know unless I keep on trying, right? That is my honest to God, like, dreams that I have put out into the ether. I don't really like talking about it so openly, but it is the truth. It's the truth. Oh, Thank you, Calm. I'm happy to leave that with Hannah Fry. I gotta find my own thing, you know. Travis, I studied acting for a couple years, actually. I saw you ask that on Twitch. You must have missed it when I answered. But now that you're back, I can answer now. So I studied acting for a couple years. I tried to be an actor, and that didn't work out for me. And then COVID lockdowns hit. I tried live streaming, and I've been live streaming ever since. So that's the quick notes version. At least in the US, you can go to school for a year with us or so without knowing what you ultimately need to do. Oh, that's actually really good. Find enclosed my qualifications for you to ignore. That's the one, Clover Crimson. A group of peacocks is an ostentation. I did not know that. That is one with the collective nouns I was unfamiliar with. My resume always show what kind of person I am, but I did that on purpose and still needs them to actually read them. Yeah, but at that point, you're also like, well, if they didn't read it, then that's not on you either, right? Just get a VPN, Google search with tons of different addresses, your name, best employee ever. How do I keep him around? Adorable. Hi, Juicy Jumbo. I found your channel randomly. I'm glad. Thank you so much. No, it's really lovely to have you here as well. You started making 180,000 a year last year. Congratulations. That is, wow. That's almost like, well, that is double that what I would like to earn. I honestly would be fine with less than 6 figures, but there's just something very gratifying about being like, yeah, I earn 6 figures. So I wouldn't need 6 figures, clearly. But it would be kind of cool to be like, yeah, I hit that. I earn $100,000 on social media. I don't. I really, really can tell you I truly do not. But it would be cool to say that I do. Mail order bride, perhaps. That's probably what I would buy with my $100,000. Admittedly. Thank you for the subscription. Which keep me honest here. I'd love to know what study he did. Yes, that's true. Or if he studied at all to get that. Because I haven't heard him speak about going to uni or college rather. So I'm not so certain that he actually has a degree to get into it. And that's why I think it would be even more interesting of how he ended up there. So maybe we can ask him in the Discord. If people want to be happy until they make 1 million, they're in for a surprise because once you make 1 million, you need more. Exactly. And I don't think that I have that mentality. I'm pretty good at plateauing and feeling content in that regard. But it's called, if you guys are curious about the phenomena, look up hedonistic treadmill or hedonistic treadmill. Hedonism is basically this consumption and indulgence of vices. So whether that sex or food, it's just indulging in vices. And so the treadmill philosophy is basically this idea of greed in a way where once you're like, once I get to this point, I'll be happy. And then what? Once I get to this point, I'll be happy. So for content creation, it could be, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be happy. Then you hit 1,000 subscribers. Oh, well, once I hit 10,000, then I'll be happy. And now I've got to hit 100,000. Now I've got to hit 1 million. It is one thing to constantly strive of an improvement and have goals, but I do think it is important to ask yourself, what will that achieve? What are you like? And I think that especially in content creation, it's one thing for people who just kind of pop off, but it's another thing where it's like, I'm trying to get to this point. Why? Why are you trying to get that point? Are you trying to be the best? Are you trying to earn more money, but you already are a multi-millionaire? It just starts to become a bit ridiculous and greedy to me. If they're trying to earn it because they want to provide jobs to other people, okay, understandable. That's a reason. But sometimes it does feel like people are just trying to get bigger number, not just in content creation, but money in general. And also in terms of even like working out, just trying to get bigger. Why? Or running, trying to run further. Why? And for some people, they will have an answer. I am not saying that there are people who don't have an answer, but I do think that there are others, and a lot of others, who just keep on trying to do the next thing for the sake of doing it rather than it being a conscious decision. Could be, oh yeah, that's a Hannah Fry. When I feel content, I'm usually in a camp prison ground. When I feel content, camp. I don't get that one. Hello, how you going, Dave? Good to see you. Okay, catching up. Nice to meet you as well, Beru. Sorry, just wanted to catch up with these ones. Big respects for answering your tries. You're right. I'm always far behind chat, so it's always easy to do so. A root of wolves? No, that would be a pack of wolves, surely. Rank Will Smith, Lewis Hamilton, and Anthony Joshua 1, 2, and 3, but why? Why does that help? An audience of viewers, that's a good point. If you found a 100k job, but they require you shut down your social media presence, would you? It depends on the job. It really, really does depend on the job because I love what I do so very much that where I am at this point in my life, giving up on live streaming. It would be different if I was like, oh, like I'm not sure if I like live streaming. I'm not sure if I like content. Then maybe I would take it. But I love what I do so much that it would have to be a freaking cool job. Like maybe if it were voice acting, you know, I feel like that would be one I would be incredibly tempted by. If I got guaranteed 100k annually for the next, let's say 10 years, I'd be pretty happy. I think I would have to take that. But if it were another job, maybe I would prefer the flexibility that content creation provides me. And I would say, oh, thank you, but I'll try my chances over here. Okay. A school of fish. Yes, I do know this one at least. You'll be glad to hear shipping and handling on lightly used American men as well under that 6-figure mark if you buy now. That's adorable. I need 30 million to live comfortably for the rest of my life without worrying about the future and taxes and inflation. Oh yes, I've heard that there are these numbers where especially if you invest and you work on interest, but I thought it was 10 million. I guess with inflation it's now 30 million. Yeah, the 7 deadly sins. You got it. Sean, how you going? Content is one of life's biggest skills to gain and not content with content with what's available and reasonable, for sure. Okay, we're almost caught up. I need the 30 mil. I want to be an actor comedian when I was younger. And let me tell you, in America, at least the entertainment business is scummy. And I'm glad I didn't pursue it. I think very similarly. I still loved acting, but by the time I left it, but I didn't like the industry for sure. Probably made about 1 mil New Zealand dollars since I started working. Wow, that is insane to even consider. I don't think I've made 1 million. I can tell you that right now. But I've also had to live too. Exactly. Hi, Foxtrot. I wanna be the very West. I'm not monetized on YouTube, actually, Dirty Dan. I have 1,000 subs, but I'm not monetized. I still need to hit the watch hours. And the thing is, I'll hit the watch hours if I just keep live streaming. So it will be very close to being monetized. So we'll get there. Okay. Yeah, I have a little bit of a British accent, but I'm not British. A realm of kingfisher. A realm. I feel like a regency of kingfisher would be kind of cool or something like that. Give me 500k right now and I'll make it last. If I had 500k to give you, it would be all yours, but I do not. You heard it here. Kicklim's exclusivity deal is 100k per year. Exactly right. That's what you get me to get over on Kick. You just need to pay my 100k, not these millions that are going out to these larger streamers. Just 100k. No, I don't know this one, Minecraft, the 20th Century Girl movie. I mean, I've watched 20th Century Girl movies, but not that one. Hi, Phil. I want to see Africa one day. I had a girlfriend from South Africa. She used to say the soil in Africa is red. Yes, and in Australia it is as well. But I want to see more of Africa, but I want to go back to South Africa in particular. Yes, yeah. It's real. Favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur. I love Bulbasaur. I feel like Lapras is my favorite at the moment. I'm back on the Lapras train. Honestly, my favorite Pokemon, it comes and goes in waves, and at the moment I'm back on the Lapras train. You're all right, Sarah, and you don't stress. Like I said, just by the end of the month, I should hit it without needing anyone to go out of their way to watch as well. I think simply if I continue live streaming for 2 more weeks, we should hit the monetization.
I'm doing my part.
Easy peasy. 100k New Zealand is minimum wage? Definitely not. Minimum wage in New Zealand, what would minimum wage be? Is it at 17 yet? Minimum wage and dollar. Hi, Sunbeam. Oh, is that 24? When did I get to 20? Oh, starting out wage is 19. Okay, that's more what I was thinking about. Yeah, they do it by hours. So let's do minimum wage, annual salary. Yeah, about 50,000 New Zealand dollars. So $24 per hour took effect on the 1st of April. So that is recent. Is 40-hour work week, which would come up to just under 50,000 New Zealand dollars annually. And 40,000 for starting out work rather than full-time job. Yeah, so the starting out training wage would be like 16, 17-year-olds. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's okay, but New Zealand can be expensive. Like, you wouldn't necessarily be buying a house with that one. I'm hyped as well. I've got my tickets to Copenhagen as well. I spent way too much money on them and I'm so excited. I get the raid lovers pass too, so I can do some extra raids outside of my actual park day. I'm so excited. It really made me want to go to the other ones, but I can barely afford going to the to the one Pokemon Go Fest. It's so cool. It's going to be my 30th celebration, and it is the perfect celebration for me specifically. Yeah, it's a little bit how you going, but nonetheless, thank you, Izzy, for the follow as well. A group of Pokemon is an orbital. I believe it, like a Pokeball. Yes, New Zealanders and Aussies have a rivalry, but it's like a sibling rivalry where they hate one another, but no one else is allowed to attack them. Like, we'll defend each other against others, but they'll still fight one another. I do still play Pokemon, yes. I play Pokemon Go every day. Oh, the churches got destroyed in Africa. I didn't know this, but we're not talking about this at the moment. I'd be happy with $30 to $100 an hour. Yeah, anything in this realm will be great, please. I was gonna ask how that fares with living costs. Exactly. So let me see what they say. What do they call it? Livable wage, New Zealand. Let's do that comparison. Okay, so here as a comparison, the minimum wage for an adult is $23.95, but is $24, but the livable wage is 29 New Zealand dollars. So that is where it differs. The livable wage is much closer to 30. I see, Mama. Back in my day, minimum was $13.50. Hey, you must be a similar age to me then, Corey. Am I allowed to ask? Are you, because when I started working, it was around that amount as well. That's why I said, is it at 17 yet? Because when I left, it wasn't even at 17. Yeah, New Zealand and Oz versus the world. That's the one. How dare you? I am Team Instinct, thank you very much. I have Spark as my leader all the way, Geronius. And how dare you bring up politics? I read all of the teams, and I liked what Spark had to say. He's more like a softie rather than the power and the intellect. Like I'm the Hufflepuff of Pokemon Go. Africa is super interesting. Yeah, one day for sure. I'd love to see more of it too. I didn't get any shinies yesterday, but there's always a remote trade. I didn't actually play the Dino event yesterday because I played the original one back in, I think, like 2022 or something. So I already had my shiny dinos, and I'm not too fussed about doing shundo hunting. I like to get my shinies, and I like to get high IVs and kind of leave it there rather than try and get the best shiny. I like getting the shiny for the Pokedex, but I'm not fussed if the shiny is not a good shiny, because otherwise it just fills up too much of my storage and it stresses me out. 34. Okay, so a little bit older in that case, but not by too much. Still around the same time of 13.50 being minimum wage. I'm eating quesadillas with milk at 3 a.m. I got a milky mustache. That sounds incredible. I actually feel like quesadillas myself as well. You want to be paid and live? What do you mean? Hi, Full Truth. What do you think of Mexicans? Well, the only Mexicans I've met are pretty cool. I don't really think very much about whole groups. It's like, it feels weird to generalize on a whole population, you know? Would Aussie and Kiwi date or follow same sports teams? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because usually they'd be on their own, like, side with New Zealanders supporting New Zealanders, Aussies supporting Aussies. I think they probably, if they follow something like NBA, would be an example because neither of those are Aussie or Kiwi teams. But I can't imagine a New Zealander being like, oh, I love the Brisbane rugby team. You know what I mean? That's a good question though. Trade the bad Ivy shinies. Yeah, but then you have to do the special trades, and you can only do 1 or 2 of those a day, and so it just is like ends up in the bin anyway because I don't want to hoard all of these shinies. Australia and New Zealand seem super interesting. Yeah, I love them, and it's super easy to find a kangaroo if you want to go see them. I know you said a small kangaroo problem. I don't know what that means though. Oh, thank you, Corn Pop. Kiwi with a dab of California. Yeah, I have some words that do end up a bit more American, but it's more British than American, I'd say. Okie dokie. 10.50. I feel like my first job was 13.50. And then I asked for a pay rise because I'd been there for a while, and then they put it to 15. And then the minimum wage went up to 15. It was so ridiculous. I was so mad. And then they didn't raise my wage. They left it at 15, so I quit that job. Oh, there we go, Geronius. Okay. Okie dokie. One day we will indeed. Yeah, I need to open more gifts though. That's on me. I'm so bad at opening gifts. We'll get there. Ah, gotcha, Rob. Okay. That's what I didn't understand. I was doing minimum wage before at school. Now I feel like I earn less than minimum wage, admittedly, at this stage. Nonetheless, I think we'll call it there for the conversations today. I'm going to play a little bit of games, so if you guys want to stick around, we will be playing some games, but I highly recommend jumping over onto the Twitch channel, because that's where things will be. And then I will play a little bit of gaming rather than calling it quits like I have in the past. But I did want to show this before I move on. Oh dear, that one does not have the have what I wanted to show. I'm playing chess. Enjoy. I am terrible at chess, but it doesn't help that I don't enjoy chess, so I can't get good at it when I don't enjoy it, you know? Oh yes, thank you. Thanks, Rob. Thank you. Vocal fry Starbucks girl. You think that I have vocal fry. Are you aware of what vocal fry actually means? Because if you know what it means, you know that I do not have vocal fry whatsoever. Okay, never mind. I cannot find what I wanted to show you guys, so that's okay. Before I fully wrap up, however, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to ask AI how they respond when I ask if they're AI. So, let us do this. I'm asking Gemini, are you AI? Let's see how they respond, because then I will know how to respond when I get asked. So, Gemini says, yes, I am. I am Gemini, an AI developed by Google. You can think of me as a multimodal collaborator, which is just a fancy way of saying I can understand and work with different types of information like text, code, and images. Whether you need help brainstorming, writing, learning something new, or just want to chat, I'm here to help. What's on your mind today? I feel like that unironically is kind of a good response for me, though. Whether you need to learn something new or just want to chat, I'm here to help. What's on your mind today? My name's X Clementine. I am a multimodal collaborator. So, well, I wanted to see what else they'd say, because there's no way they were going to just say yes. They were going to give us a whole paragraph, which they did, and now we know. Make it a red fluffy miniature barbarian, then you can be X Clementine. That's cute, Ron. I really like that. All right, YouTube. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had fun. If you did enjoy yourself, consider subscribing. And we'll see you next time. I am streaming every day for the month of May, but you can follow on the other socials should you wish to see some of the vertical content that's coming out. If you also want to, watch some video games, or just hang out in the Discord. So we'll see you when we see you. But thank you for being here today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend as well, whatever you get up to. And as I always say, thank you for spending some of it with us. But much appreciated. If you want to play some games, there is the socials somewhere. Oops, someone beat me to it. But Twitch is the best place to be. If it is there, it is at the top. But thanks again, everyone. No stress, Molotov. We'll see you next time. And that's all, folks. Bye, YouTube. See you later.